Good afternoon and welcome to Monin Park here on the campus of UMass Boston in Boston, Massachusetts. Along with Bob Molta, I am John Skudras, excited to bring you this Day 3, a triple header of baseball action in the 2018 Little East Conference Tournament right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. To lead things off, we have an excellent matchup of the two top seeds in the conference's regular season. As the two teams still remaining in the winner's bracket, Eastern Connecticut State takes on UMass Boston for a berth in the championship series tomorrow afternoon. Let's take a look at the all-time series matchup between these two squads, as UMass Boston has struggled, having won just 9 of 52 matchups overall. The last Warriors win coming back in 2017, with the Beacons sweeping this season's series by a combined total of 30-11. Chris Fowler with 8 RBIs in those games. He is batting cleanup today. Without further ado, let's take a look at the batting order for the visiting Eastern Connecticut State University Warriors. Matt LeBranch leads things off with Alexander White. Batting second, the designated hitter Jack Rich, who had 3 hits in Game 1 of this tournament. The third base batting third, Alex Parkos. In the cleanup spot at first base, DJ Scavone. The catcher, Merlin Herrera, batting fifth. Batting sixth, Anthony Stigler, the right fielder. Batting seventh, playing second base, Colin Russell. And batting eighth, playing shortstop, Dale Keller. Batting ninth, and in left field will be Ryan Hood. Your UMass Boston Beacons defensive lineup, presented by Brendan Igerbrod. From left to right in the outfield, Anthony Cesare, Sal Frascino, and Nick Herzog. A very athletic and solidly defensive outfield. And from left to right on the infield, Eddie Riley at third, Charlie Huegi at short, Dave Murphy at second, Chris Fowler at first, and the battery mates Fernando Burgos and Ryan McCormick. Your starting pitcher, as it shows there, will be Fernando Burgos. He'll be going up against Sam Kostarich this afternoon. Fernando's numbers right there, 7-1 with a 3.62 ERA. In 49 2/3 innings, he struck out 34 and walked 21. He has allowed 20 earned runs in those 49 2/3 innings. And really, he's one of the two pitchers that the Beacons count on week in and week out, along with JT Morin, who won against Southern Maine yesterday. They are combined 13-2. I welcome in my partner in crime for the broadcast here today, Bob Molta. And Bob, you're very familiar with this Eastern Connecticut State University team and lineup. What should we take a look at today if you're tuning in on a Friday afternoon in Boston?
Well, John, Eastern's probably playing the best it's played all season long. They struggled to find the right lineup this year. Haven't had a lot of winning streaks, have lost some games by quite a large margin, but as we all know, teams get ready for this tournament. They know it doesn't matter what your regular season is, it matters what your postseason does. And I think a perfect case in point would be the UMass Boston softball team, under 500, got hot at the end. They were a very good team this year, but they didn't play particularly well. They got hot, and now they're in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. Getting hot at the right time is really the recipe for success at this level. As you see, Fernando Burgos looking to have a fine performance today on the mound. The right-hander is going up against a fellow right-hander, Sam Kostarich, and Sam's a guy who's teetered between as a starter and a reliever this year. He came out of the bullpen in their victory on Wednesday and really gave relief to Jordan Muchin really well. He came in and he shut the door on their opposition from Plymouth State en route to a hold in that game. And so when you look at Kostarich going up against Burgos, what might be the key for Sam here? Obviously, he doesn't want to walk a lot of hitters for UMass Boston, what with the power in the middle of their order.
John, Sam Kostarich has to throw strikes. That's his key. That's his absolute key. He's got an electric fastball. If he can find the plate with it, he's going to be very difficult to hit, but he cannot keep the ball out over the plate against this UMass team because they're a lethal hitting team.
They certainly are. As Alexander White steps up to the dish, he'll be the first one to face Fernando Burgos. Alex came into the day today hitting .295, 2 homers and 18 driven in, as he takes the first pitch on the inside corner for strike one. Burgos at times runs into some command issues, but he's done an excellent job working out of them. He's very cool, calm, and collected on the mound as this one is lifted into right field. It's trouble if it's fair, and it is fair. That'll be extra bases to lead off the ball game for Alexander White, as launching this one in is Nick Herzog. But a leadoff double for the center fielder for these ECSU Warriors.
I think the key is, John, is that Eastern's going to have to score runs. They've struggled with hitting this year, only hitting 280 as a team. They're going to have to score runs to win this game.
Well, they're off to a good start against Burgos with a runner at second base and nobody out. Jack Rich will step up. And Jack, I talked to Coach LeBranch after their win on Wednesday. An interesting story as the first pitch to Rich is down and away for ball one. Jack had just 6 hits in the regular season, 6 for 34. I think he'd even say it was a disappointing campaign for him, but Coach stuck with him, put him out there in game one as a designated hitter, and he came through with 3 hits, 2 extra base hits, a walk, and a couple of runs scored in that win, as piercing the inside corner for a strike is Burgos.
John, we had the discussion before this tournament who was going to start at the DH because Jake LaFay had handled most of the DH this year, and then I think he wanted to get another left-handed bat in the lineup with Jack Rich.
As the 1-1 pitch is laced foul up the third base line by Rich.
As you said, John, Jack only had 6 hits during the year, but he got some good swings and he had some good outings. He hit the ball well, and I think they had to find somebody for that DH spot, and I'm not sure how Matt LeBranch decided it would be Jack, but for the first couple games it's worked out.
Certainly has, as Burgos and McCormick find the right sign. The 1-2 pitch coming. As the Beacon's right-hander sees it laced out to left field. Cesare is in, and he makes the play for the first out. So Rich is retired on a fly out to left field. 1 down, and it'll bring up Alex Parkos. Parkos is really this team's glue guy, I guess you'd say. 333, 5 homers, 39 RBI. Leads the team in hitting, leads the team in run production. Only DJ Scavone has more home runs, so he and Scavone are the big bats in the middle of this order.
Career-wise, John, Parkos and DJ Scavone are the active leaders in almost every category.
There goes the runner. Burgos never even saw him as Alexander White takes a page out of Plymouth State's playbook. Aggressive running early on, and he is at third base with less than 2 outs.
White now 20 for 23 in stolen bases. He leads the team, or he's second on the team. Now he ties the team lead with that stolen base.
As that one is chopped foul, it's 0-2 to Parkos, the third baseman in this ECSU lineup. And that is a brilliant play. Burgos never saw him coming. He almost stole that bag before the ball even left his hand. And now he can score on a ground out.
That's happened a number of times against Eastern this year, John. It's the first time I've seen Eastern do it.
The 0-2, just a bit outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hey, why not take a page from your opponent's playbook? As White waits 90 feet away. The 1-2 pitch. That one is down. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Burgos to Parkos.
John, Parkos is very comfortable on this field. He's a junior this year. As a freshman, he was the MVP of this tournament. Just had an incredibly monster tournament, and he's continued that this year. He's hit well so far in this tournament.
The 2-2. Breaking ball, he struck him out. Good pitch by Fernando Burgos. He had attacked him primarily with fastballs, comes back with the hook, and had Parkos way out in front of it, 2 down.
Yeah, John, he kept that ball away from Parkos is what you need to do. You can't let Parkos turn on the ball, not on this field.
Brings up Scavone, who leads the team with 7 bombs. Also 302 average, 34 driven in as a fastball carves the outside corner, 0-1.
Scavone yesterday, John, broke the New England record for career putouts, almost 1,300 in his 4-year career.
First baseman for these Warriors, long time starting first baseman as he's jammed on an inside fastball, and Fernando trying to, as I said, tiptoe out of trouble. He does this a lot, gets into early trouble, and then settles down. He's now ahead 0-2.
With UMass Boston really a very good offensive team, John, Eastern's can't leave runners on base. They're going to have to produce every time they have a chance.
0-2 misses away. Right you are. Even if it seems like, it's just the first inning, these runs, they certainly count. When you start stranding men in scoring position, you're going to look back at the end of the game and wonder why.
What Eastern's done so far in this tournament, John, is they've been hitting 1 through 9 in the lineup. The other night, they had every guy in the lineup reach base.
The 1-2 just a bit inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Scavone. Yeah, they put on a hitting clinic earlier in this tournament, and something that Matt LaBranche loves to see his team heating up at the right time as Burgos sees Scavone call time. We'll play 3 today. Going to be another long afternoon. Yesterday, probably the longest here from Moden Park, as we had to play 3 and complete 1, as the 2-2 is a bit up and in. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
John, based on UMass Boston's home record, 15-3, do you look at them? Do you see them as welcoming hosting the Little East tournament? There's 2 schools of thought. Do you want to get on the road, or do you want to host?
I think I'd rather host it. I mean, they, as you said, they're won 15 of 18 here at Moden Park. They've developed a bit of a real comfort level here. Not to mention some rivals like Southern Maine have a discomfort level, as taking ball 4 just a bit in was Scavone, so runners at the corners with 2 outs. I understand at the same time, sometimes playing at home can be a distraction. When you get out on the road, you're just with your teammates and create kind of a bonding experience, but so far, so good for UMass Boston. They are 2-0, although Burgos now favoring something, and out comes Brendan Igabrot along with Ryan McCormick and the home plate umpire. So that is of significant concern here in the top half of the first inning. And keep in mind, so it looks like it's not too serious. It's not an arm injury or anything. It looks like he was hit in the face with the throw from McCormick. Well, you know what? We've seen that before at the big league level, so could be worse. Could bat out of order like the New York Mets did the other day.
It's rare that kind of stuff doesn't happen more often. The way the balls and the bats are flying around.
Yeah, I mean,
around.
Especially the way they throw down to third after strikeouts. You'd think that somebody wouldn't be paying attention, but Fernando's okay. Just, maybe that'll wake him up. You see him flexing his jaw down there. These are first-time battery mates this season, but they've certainly pitched and caught a lot together. As Merlin Herrera steps up, what a year for Merlin. The catcher hitting .330, 15 driven in, as McCormick barks out signals to his infielders.
Merlin's had a great season. He was hurt throughout the early season in Florida, but since he's come back, he's pretty much been, he's caught virtually every game since he's come back. He threw out a runner the other day. He throws out quite a high percentage of runners.
First pitch to Herrera is down low, 1-0. The runner at third is White. He doubled and then stole third. Couple of outs, a fly out by Rich and a strikeout of Parkos, then led to Scavone's walk. That's where we stand. Runners at the corners, 2 outs, top of the first inning.
Scavone shouldn't be a threat to steal, although he runs the bases well.
1-0 is grounded to shortstop. Charlie Huegi in goes the easy way to second, where Murphy is there, and the inning is over. 6-4 on the fielder's choice, and a threat goes nullified by Fernando Burgos. We are through 1/2 inning from Moden Park here on the campus of UMass Boston. This is the 2018 Little East Conference Tournament, Day 3. No score, Beacons and Warriors.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Heading to the bottom half of the first inning between Eastern Connecticut State and UMass Boston. On with Bob Multa, I'm John Skudris, as UMass gets their first opportunity to toil against Sam Kostarich, as the right-hander is warming up on your screen. Kostarich has had himself a solid campaign, teetering between a starter and a reliever for these Warriors. And as you said, for Sam, the key to today's game is going to be throwing strikes.
John, the thing with Sam, this is actually only the Sam pitched in all 4 games in 2 years ago on this field when Eastern won it. He picked up 3 saves, and then he came in the first game. So the game against Rhode Island College, yesterday was the first game in 2 years at this park that he was not in the lineup. As we've said, Sam can be pretty much all or nothing. He could pitch a 1 or 2 hit shutout, or else he could be out of the game in the second inning. And again, it all comes down to his command of his fastball.
Well, we'll see what command Sam has today as we take a look at Brendan Eigerbroth's starting lineup for UMass Boston that Kostarich will be opposing, and it is an imposing lineup for UMass Boston as the Beacons look like this. Leading off, playing third base, Eddie Riley. Batting second, the designated hitter, Kyle Boudris. Batting third, our player to watch today, Dave Murphy. Batting fourth and hitting cleanup, the first baseman, Chris Fowler. Batting fifth, the catcher, Ryan McCormick. Batting sixth in right field, Nick Herzog. Batting seventh, playing left field, Anthony Cesare. Sal Frascino is batting eighth, at least on the one that I had. Sal Frascino is batting eighth over Wanderson Pinales. Charlie Huegi batting ninth, playing shortstop, as they will be opposing Sam Kostarich. Eddie Riley leading things off. He's about to step in to the right-handed batter's box, hitting .273, 3 homers, 26 driven in.
Riley over 3 against Southern Maine yesterday, John, but did reach on 2 walks and scored a run.
The first pitch is an off-speed pitch on the inside corner for a strike. Eddie, in his third year as a Beacon, as the 0-1 pitch is down and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. He had 8 multi-hit games this year. However, he has not had one in his last 9 games. Here's the 1-1. That one's ripped to left field, and he'll start the game off well for UMass Boston. Riley thought about 2. He'll hold up at first with a single, as that one is laced to left field by Eddie Riley, and the Beacons have a leadoff base runner. Really exactly what you don't want to do if you're Kostarich is get base runners or allow base runners to reach in front of Murphy and Fowler. See if he can neutralize Boudris, who steps in now.
Boudris batting .316 coming into this game. 49 hits and 155 at-bats.
Kyle has 2 homers this year, 32 driven in, as the wide open stance awaits the pitch, and that one misses in, 1-0.
As we all know, John, this is the key game of the tournament. Whoever wins this is 3-0 and has to be beaten twice tomorrow.
Pickoff move not in time. Absolutely. It's such a advantage to make it to that championship round without a loss. You have a lot of flexibility. As Kostarich takes a peek over at Riley, comes home. The 1-0 is outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Boudris, as Kostarich is falling behind here early.
Not only is it a mental thing, John, getting to that championship game undefeated, but it really saves your pitching staff.
2-0 pitch. Breaking ball up and away. 3 balls and no strikes.
You'll see a lot of times, John, in the championship series, sometimes the once beaten team will force that final game by beating the undefeated team the first time. But then a lot of times they just run out of pitching.
Yeah, having to play back-to-back games, never advantageous, especially when the bullpens for some of these teams aren't nearly as deep as others. Here's the 3-0, and that one's not even close. And this is what you were saying about the command, how it can be hit or miss. And now he's in trouble because he has Riley at second, Boudris at first, and the Beacons murderer's row of Murphy and Fowler coming up. Murphy on the year, the Beacons second baseman, leading the way with 11 home runs. He's hitting .333, and he has 40 driven in.
So Coach LeBranch pitched Sam Kostarich the other night just 2 innings to close out that first opening win, just to get him loose. But the plan all along was for him to be pitching this game. And if he falters early, not quite sure who Coach LeBranch would bring in. I don't know if he would come back with Cole or Gorzalak, who pitched quite a bit last night.
He hopes he doesn't have to face those concerns as the first pitch to Murphy is laced into left field, a base hit. They are going to wave the runner around. Riley is going to reach as the Beacons have taken the lead in the first inning. It's 1-0 UMass Boston. An RBI single from Dave Murphy, his 41st of the year, and with nobody out in the first, the Beacons are on the board.
We talked about Sam Kostarich having to have command But what it looks like, John, is that he's coming in too much to help, to avoid walking people. He seems to be throwing a lot of pitches right down the middle, and this Beacon team will just tee off on that.
Brings up Chris Fowler, who leads the team with the .388 average. 7 home runs, also leads the way with 43 driven in. He's got 2 on the sacks now as Kostarich out of the stretch delivers the first pitch fastball for a strike.
3 hits yesterday for Fowler, 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, and he scored a run. So he's the heart and soul of the middle of this lineup.
It's a D3 baseball All-American honorable mention, a first-team All-Region, All-Conference, and preseason All-American, and he set the program record with a 37-game hitting streak. This time he drives it over to first base. Only play is at first as Scavone takes it to the bag. That is the first out. The runners advance to second and third. And so Fowler, with a ground out, has 2 men in scoring position for McCormick.
Eastern's played very good defense in the first 2 games of this tournament, John. I don't think they've committed an error, but that's going to be another thing. If they give UMass Boston extra outs, it could be a long afternoon.
Here is Ryan McCormick, 346, 35 driven in for the Beacon's catcher as a curveball right down Broadway, 0-1. Riley is in. He led off the inning with a single and scored. A walk to Boudris, a single to Murphy, and a ground out by Fowler. 1 down, second and third. And the 0-1 pitch from Kostarich, just a bit down and away, 1-1.
Another key with Kostarich is that he's got to have the difference between his fastball and his breaking ball has to be a little bit more. His breaking ball is coming in pretty quick.
The 1-1. On the outside corner, McCormick didn't like it, but a good pitch. 1-2. So now Ryan trying to drive in a run. They are not playing in, the exception of third base that's even with the bag. So a ground ball gets a run home. Here's the 1-2. And Stadler's lofted into left field. Coming on in is Ryan Hood. He won't get there, and it gets by him. That'll easily score a run. Somehow, someway, Murphy won't be able to advance from second. It's an RBI single for Ryan McCormick, his 36th of the year. And the runners stay at first and second with 1 down here in inning number 1.
No error on that play, John. The runner was coming all the way, and he would have scored. And luckily the ball wasn't hit that sharply where if it had gotten by Hood, it could have rolled all the way to the fence, but it was more of a looping single, and it only went a couple of feet away from Hood, so the other runners could not advance.
Brings up Nick Herzog, the Beacon's right fielder, as the first pitch to Nick is laced foul behind the screen. Herzog hitting .293, 1 home run, 30 RBI. The Beacons have 7 of their 9 hitters in the lineup today with at least 23 RBI. Here's the 0-1. Another foul ball off the screen, and Kostarich getting ahead of a batter here. It's 0-2.
John, the wind is blowing pretty stiffly to the right, but you've seen a lot of the games in this park. I would guess if the wind is blowing to the left, you see a lot of balls out of here, or at least off the monster.
Absolutely, although typically it does blow to the right. I think just the currents and the patterns from where the bay is and these buildings that they're putting up certainly lends itself to that. You'll see a lot more home runs hit over the monster and left than you will to right. In fact, 2 or 3 maybe to right I've seen. Anthony Cesare hit a bomb to right earlier this year, as did Kyle Boudris. As the 0-2 is a curveball, a fastball that misses high.
Might be a little difficult to entice left-handed hitters to join the program because there's a lot of room out there.
It's a cavern right at that 380 mark in the visitors' bullpen. Even a guy like Chris Fowler, if he played in a park with a more friendly right field porch, he may have had more than 7 bombs. As that one's grounded up the middle. A beautiful effort and a play by Keller as he flips it over to Russell to retire the runner. That is McCormick. And that is the second out of the inning. So a nice play, 6-4. Herzog reaches first. It's first and third, 2 outs.
You're right. That was an outstanding play by Keller. Keller had a great start to his season. He didn't commit an error for the first 10 or 15 games, and that was a more difficult play than it appeared, John, because it took sort of like an in-between hop at the last minute.
To bring up Cesare, 337 as the pickoff move's not in time. 337, 1 homer, 15 RBI. The 1 homer, as I mentioned, was right here at Monon Park. And the left-handed hitter steps in. Kosteric trying to work himself out of a jam. He's given up 2 runs, but could be a lot worse if he's able to get Cesare here. He can keep this game close.
Both left-handed hitters in the lineup in this inning have reached, one on a walk and one on the RBI single.
That one misses low. It's 1-0 to Anthony Cesare. Sal Frascino's on deck. Sal, a defensive dynamo and somebody with a lot of speed. But right now, Cesare, who's more of a compact swinging left-handed hitter, as he laces that one off the fencing out up the third baseline. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-0 UMass Boston, bottom half of the first inning. John Scudris here with Bob Malta, the Beacons and the Warriors battling. The winner on their way to the championship round tomorrow. The loser, well, they've got to play again tonight as the 1-1 is in on the hands of Cesare. Good pitch, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, that pitch just completely handcuffed Cesare, who did a little bit of a wave, but that was in a perfect location.
Kosteric from the stretch gets his sign from Merlin Herrera. 2 outs and a 1-2 coming to Cesare. Outside, the runner goes. They won't attempt the throw with the danger of Murphy at third, though Murphy, I think even he will admit, doesn't run very well. Still, it's ball 2, 2-2, and now 2 men in scoring position. Of course, the winner of this game doesn't have to play again today. The loser will have to play, in 6 hours. As the 2-2 is a breaking ball laced to left field. Hood on this run. He will make the catch in front of the warning track to retire the side. So UMass Boston puts a crooked number up. They get 2 runs. All that on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We head to inning number 2 from Monon Park. This is the 2018 LEC Tournament, 2-0 UMass Boston.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
We head to the second inning from Monon Park. I am John Scudris with Bob Malta as the Beacons Broadcasting Network brings you day 3, another triple header here of baseball action in the 2018 LEC Tournament. Right now we have Eastern Connecticut State trailing UMass Boston 2-0. Later on we will have another strong matchup as UMass Dartmouth takes on a RIC team that is upstart, having beaten Southern Maine en route to today's battle. They also lost to this ECSU squad last night. And then the winner of that game has to play the loser of this one at 6 o'clock tonight. I'm not sure who that's more of an advantage for, the team that sat for 5 hours or the team that just played 30 minutes before. I want to say it's the team that just played, but not sure.
Yeah, there's definitely 2 ways to look at that.
As Anthony Stigler is in to lead off, he takes a strike on the inside corner. Anthony hitting .260 with 26 driven in. And Anthony, 3-time Rookie of the Week in the LEC. He has been a nice find for Matt LaBranche. He's now behind 0-2. Stigler batting from the left side as Burgos, the right-hander, wheels and delivers. That one's popped up, shallow left field. Cesare started to his right, now comes in and makes the one-handed grasp, one away.
John, you mentioned you didn't know if it was an advantage or a disadvantage, but they did a study quite a few number of years ago and found out the team that ended up losing this game, if they used to have it where they would come right back, and when they came right back, most of the time they lost the next game. So they tried to switch it around a little bit to give that team the advantage, more of an advantage.
Interesting. I wonder if it's a psychological thing or if it's just the fact that a lot of players just play more tired, as that one is down the middle, 1-1. The batter is Colin Russell. Colin hitting .291, 15 driven in. The 1-1. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Russell started at second base yesterday, went 1 for 5. In his career, he's pretty much been the odd man out. Played a little bit of third, a little bit of short, but then they moved Parkos full-time to third, so he was sort of out of a job.
2-1 is on the outside corner. Looked outside from here, but it's 2-2.
He started the season as the second baseman this year after Parkos took over at third. But Mike Finaro really excelled, the senior.
Finaro started the opener of this tournament, their victory against Plymouth State. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Colin Russell, a native of Sandwich, Massachusetts. The 3-2. Ground ball, second base. Murphy is there, fires over to first, 2 down. 4-3 on the putout, so one second baseman grounds out to the other. That'll bring up Dale Keller, the 8-hole hitter. And for an 8-hole hitter, his number's pretty impressive as the shortstop hitting .328 with 14 driven in.
Yeah, this is Keller's first year as the starting shortstop. And as I said to you a couple innings ago, he had a great, he fielded completely, really good the first half of the year, and he's still done well since then.
Fastball on the inside corner, 0-1 to Keller. Dale out of Oxford, Connecticut, the 0-1. That one's on the outside corner with a fastball, and Keller behind 0-2 as Burgos, after running into early trouble, leadoff double followed by a 2-out walk in the first. He appears to have settled down. The 0-2 in the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This is a career high season for Dale Keller, and it goes to show when you get a chance to play every single day, you have an opportunity to get comfortable and to get into your groove, and he's done a nice job.
1-2 pitch, just missed. Burgos wanted it, didn't get it. It's 2-2. A lot of the times, yeah, as you said, it's about building a repertoire, and you can't find consistency if you're not getting consistent playing time. As the 2-2 from Burgos misses inside, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Keller has reached 19 consecutive games heading into today.
Try to make it 20 here if he can get a base on balls. The 3-2, right down the middle, called strike 3. He struck him out. Sir Burgos gets his second strikeout, his first of the backwards variety. And we are through an inning and a half from Monin Park. UMass Boston 2, Eastern Connecticut State 0.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
We head to the bottom half of the second inning here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. John Scudras with Bob Multa as UMass Boston will come back out here. They will send 8-9-1. Sal Frascino, Charlie Huegi, and Eddie Riley as they lead it 2-0.
What Boston is definitely trying to do, John, is they want to get into Eastern's bullpen early. You know, these two teams know each other. They know what each team has, and Eastern doesn't have a lot of bullpen help this year. If Kostarich doesn't give them at least 5 or 6 innings, they're going to be in trouble. They might bring in Jack Risley, who my thinking was that they were going to try and save Jack Risley for the next start, but he could be coming in. Drew Alexopoulos could be a relief pitcher. You know how it is. When it comes to this point in the tournament, that you're going to throw anybody, even if they're a full-time starter. You may throw them if they're rested.
Right, all hands on deck at this point. You got nothing to lose. You lose 2 more games, and you're done.
You got to try and stay in that winner's bracket.
Exactly. I mean, it's such a critical difference getting to that championship round by winning this game, as the first pitch to Frashino is on the outside corner, 0-1. As mentioned, Sal is a defensive wizard. At the dish, he struggled, 185 with 12 driven in. They play slightly in at third base. Sal known to lay down a bunt or two. The 0-1. Right there with a fastball, 0-2 to UMass Boston's center fielder.
4 left-handed hitters in this UMass Boston lineup, which will make things difficult for Kostarich.
Sal, the only 4-year starter on this Beacons roster, is the 0-2 curveball, ground ball, first base, gobbled up by Scavone. Going to be a tough play, and Kostarich gets over just in time to beat the speedy Frashino. Pitcher fielding practice pays off, as Kostarich aware enough to get over there and get the first out. So that brings up Charlie Huegi, the 9-hole hitter. Charlie, the shortstop for UMass Boston, hitting .280 with 23 driven in. As Kostarich gets the sign, the wind-up and the first pitch curveball right there, 0-1. Charlie, a native of Sandy Hook, Connecticut, came in as a backup catcher, started at first base as a freshman, started at second last year with Dave Murphy hurt, and now moves to shortstop this year as he laces a single to center field, as the versatile infielder for UMass Boston has a 1-out base hit.
You know, the good programs, John, will take a high school player, and that high school player, if he's athletic, can play anywhere on the field. When Eastern won its last national championship, virtually every player on that team was a high school shortstop. So if you recruit the most athletic high school kid, they can play anywhere.
And usually the most athletic high school kids are shortstops, at least from my experience.
Absolutely.
As this is grounded up the middle by Riley. It may be a double play ball. Good recovery by Keller. What a play by Keller, as Dale bobbles the ball, then dazzles with a beautiful recovery and throw to first. It's a 6-3 double play, and the inning is over. The Beacons strand 0. They have no runs on no hits, and we head into the third. It's 2-0 UMass Boston.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Monin Park is the host of the 2018 Little East Conference Tournament. Second time in 3 years that this ballpark has hosted this tourney, as the Beacons and the Warriors battle. Of course, it was ECSU that won that last time, and they will look to make Monin Park a home away from home by doing it again. They have their hands full, down 2-0. Fernando Burgos back out onto the rubber. He'll face 9-1-2, beginning with Ryan Hood. Hood, the left fielder, hitting .242 with 12 driven in on the campaign.
UMass Boston looking to become the first team since Southern Maine in 12-13 to win back-to-back championships. It's sort of rare in the 21-year history of this tournament. It's only been done 3 times. Eastern Connecticut did it twice, and Southern Maine did it most recently.
Of course, last night, Ryan Hood went 1 for 3 with 2 runs. He walked twice. He was very productive in that 10-5 win over Rick, as that one is ripped by Hood on the first pitch to shallow center field. Out comes Huegi, and he makes a beautiful snow cone grab in shallow left center field. What a play from Huegi. Frashino wasn't going to get there, but Charlie Hustle gets the job done, and there's one down in the 3rd inning.
That's one of the best catches you'll see, probably the best catch in this tournament. That was a very, very difficult ball, especially with the wind blowing pretty swiftly to the right. It looked like he had bobbled it when he turned his back to the infield, but if he did bobble it, he did gather it in.
We'll have a replay of that shortly as Anthony Searles gets on the horn on that, as swinging and missing for the first strike is Alex Rich. Rich had a double to lead off the ballgame, then stole third with 1 out and was stranded in inning number 1. First pitch here. That one's grounded up the line. Great snag by Riley. Eddie with a strong throw across and a stretch from Fowler. And the Beacons defense is doing its job here after Dale Keller retired them with a great play. A fine catch from Huegi and an excellent diving effort there from Riley. And the Beacons have 2 down.
Riley made that look easy. He backhanded that really smoothly, but he's got a gun for an arm, so the ball was hit really, really hard, so he had time.
There's Jack Rich. Rich fouls it out of play. Jack is 0 for 1. He flew out to left. Back in the first. Couple of phenomenal plays by the left side of the infield here in the 3rd inning, as that one's on the inside corner. Fernando looking to get through this inning really quickly.
Burgos got Rich last time up on a 1-2 fly ball to left, and now he's ahead of him 0-2.
Here is the 0-2, that one low, and so deja vu all over again. It's 1-2.
The defense in this tournament's been very good so far. You know, sometimes you're not quite sure. A lot of the teams that can hit really well tend to advance.
That one grounded to second base. Easy play for Murphy. A lot easier than the last couple as he flips it over to Fowler to retire the side. So that will do it for the Warriors in the top of the 3rd. No runs, no hits, no errors. Couple of fine defensive plays. Beacons back at it. They will send 2, 3, 4. Boudris, Murphy, and Fowler to the plate when we come back. It's 2-0 UMass Boston.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
UMass Boston leading this 2-0. Let's take a look at those defensive efforts from the top half of the 3rd inning, as it starts with Charlie Huegi making the fantastic effort on the ball hit out there by Ryan Hood. You see it here on your screen, a great look as Charlie shoots or snow cone grab, and he holds onto it against his body almost. And then just one batter later, it was Eddie Riley making a nice lunging grab down the 3rd base line to deny Alexander White his 2nd hit of the day, and a strong throw to first to get him. So the Beacons playing solid D, and as you said, Bob, this whole tournament, most of these teams have played good D. I know the Dartmouth game was rife with a few middle infielding errors, Dartmouth-Boston, but other than that, we have had and seen just how proficient the fielding is at this level.
Defense gets overlooked, especially in a tournament, but it's the teams that field the best usually tend to win or at least advance to the finals. I mean, UMass Boston, 128 extra base hits this year, but you know what? They're fielding at 976, which is well above average.
Kyle Boudris does lead things off, hitting .316. He walked and scored back in the 1st inning. First pitch from Kostarich. That one is low, 1-0.
So Boston got those 2 early runs. Their first 2 batters of the game reached and came around to score.
1-0 pitch. Down, 2-0. Yeah, the tale was similar for both starting pitchers. They gave up leadoff hits to their opposition and put a couple of men on base in the first. The difference was Burgos was able to get out of it. Kostarich wasn't, as that one hits the outside corner, 2-1.
The key in this tournament, John, is to chip away. You know, every inning threaten. Try and get a run every inning or every other inning.
2-1. That one grounded to the right side. Gobbled up by Scavone. DJ will go to the bag himself to retire Kyle Boudris. 1 down.
See, that's why I don't think Rhode Island College is out of this tournament yet, because they're a very, very good hitting team. And once people's pitching starts to go away, once you're deep into people's bullpen, into their 4th and 5th starters, that hitting could really surface for them.
Absolutely, as they will take on the Dartmouth Corsairs in an elimination game at 2:30. As the first pitch to Murphy is ripped foul. Dave had an RBI single back in the first, his 41st RBI.
And that's a great rivalry, John. That RIC, UMass Dartmouth, they're located in close proximity to each other, but they're big rivals in every sport.
Promises to be a stellar game as this one's grounded foul, 0-2. Of course, Matt Cronin pitched for Dartmouth yesterday. He, of course, one of the best pitchers in the country at the D3 level, and he got them that victory against Plymouth State. So now they will have to turn to their other starters and hope they can get a solid performance against a Rick team that, as you mentioned, can match with the best of them. Kostarich gets the sign from Herrera, the 0-2. Breaking ball, little low and away, 1-2.
Every team in this tournament has an ace, and you've got to win that first game with your ace, but it's usually going to be ace against ace. But the real test is when you get deeper into the tournament. How are your 2 and 3 pitchers?
Kostarich steps off as he and Herrera not on the same page this time. And you saw Dartmouth chose not to start Cronin in the opener. Of course, they did pitch him last weekend, so it also gave him an extra day. But it's a strategy. It's a double elimination. You don't have to pitch your ace your first game, as that one misses in 2-2. You can wait until your backs are proverbially against the wall.
That's really a dilemma always for head coaches. You know, if you're playing a team in the first round that you think you can beat with your 2 or 3, do you do that, or do you throw your ace and get that first win?
Of course, the Beacons started Joey Rogers in Game 1 as a 2-2 curveball is laced to third and right at Parkos, 2 down. And it ended up working out. Rogers pitched well enough to get the Beacons the victory over Dartmouth, and that saved JT Morin and Fernando Burgos for these games. Now, still some question as to who the Beacons might pitch tomorrow should they win this game. Then, of course, they'll have 2 chances to win the tournament.
As you said, it's all hands on deck, you know. Everybody give you 2 or 3 innings.
First pitch to Fowler is down and away, 1-0. Chris grounded out to first base back in the first inning. Came in hitting .388. First pitch from Sam is lifted into deep left center field. On his horse is Alex White, and he will get there to make the play and retire the side. The first 1-2-3 inning for Sam Kostarich as he appears to have settled down. We head to the 4th. It's 2-0 UMass Boston.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Heading to the 4th inning as the Beacons lead at 2-0 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Let's take a look at a recap here of this tournament as we are here in Day 3. You look on Wednesday, the first game, UMass Boston won over Dartmouth 7-3 behind Joey Rogers. And then these Warriors behind Jordan Muchin were fantastic, 4-1 over Plymouth State. And then the final from Game 3, which went over 2 days, was 7-3 for Rhode Island College as they outlasted Southern Maine. Yesterday, Dartmouth beat Plymouth State to eliminate the Panthers. Boston beat Southern Maine to eliminate the Huskies. And these Warriors blasted Rick 10-5 to advance to the winner's bracket semifinal. And then, of course, Rick playing for their lives against the loser of this one later today. Or rather against Dartmouth, and then the winner of that one taking on the loser of this one later today. I was saying yesterday that understanding this tournament and understanding how people seed into each game, you really need to study that well because it can be confusing. As the first pitch to Parkos is grounded foul.
You were doing a recap, John, of the tournament, and Southern Maine went out quick. But you have to understand that Southern Maine and Boston, most likely, regardless of the outcome of this tournament, are in very good position to get in that large bid. And, you know, I've always felt in all tournaments, especially basketball, where the team that comes in as the number 1 seed and is virtually assured of a berth regardless, doesn't have the incentive to win. Sounds foolish, but they don't have the incentive as a lower seed would.
1-1 is fouled off the screen. 1-2 to Parkos. It's 3-4-5. Alex Parkos, DJ Scavone, and Merlin Herrera combined 0 for 2 with a walk so far. Parkos struck out swinging his first time up. He's behind 1-2 to Burgos. Here is the 1-2. Ground ball third base. Riley with a Sunday hop. Fires across the diamond in time to get Parkos. 5-3 on the putout, 1 away. As you said, I mean, UMass Boston and Southern Maine likely going to get in anyway. Well, you can play your way to a higher seed with a solid performance or an LEC tournament victory, which can always pay dividends. At the same time, as you said, the Warriors know that without winning this tournament, they're likely not going to be playing more baseball after this year. And for the seniors on this squad, that is huge. As this is Scavone fouling one back, it's 0-1.
Of the seniors, really, Scavone is the only, he's been the only 4-year starter on this team. The other people have worked their way up into regular roles as seniors.
The 0-1, that one gets away. 1 ball and 1 strike. DJ walked and was stranded at first back in the first inning, as he is yet to record an official at bat. The 1-1, that one's fouled out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and now Burgos is getting ahead of batters at a more consistent pace since the second inning. He has retired now, 8 in a row.
That walk by Scavone gives him 25 consecutive games having reached base.
So that streak will continue at least till later today, as this 1-2 is fouled off the screen. It stays that 1 ball and 2 strikes. 50 pitches now for Fernando Burgos here in the top half of the 4th inning. He's allowed just 1 hit and walked 1 back in the first. The 1-2, ripped to first, off the glove of Fowler. Murphy with a barehanded recovery, and they will not get Scavone. That would have been an outstanding play. That would have probably topped Huegi and Riley's from last inning. But still, good effort all around as Fowler unable to get the hot shot. That's an infield single for DJ Scavone. And the second hit of the game, Scavone has reached base twice, and I'm not sure Brendan Eigerbroth's argument here may be saying that the pitcher for Fernando Burgos beat the runner, but I think it was pretty clear.
If Scavone wasn't a left-handed hitter, John, and didn't get down the line well, that very easily could have been an out. Because the ball bounced perfectly for UMass Boston. It was just a matter of whether Burgos was going to get over there in time.
Brings up Merlin Herrera. Merlin grounded into a 6-4 fielder's choice his first time up. That ended the first inning, which was a letdown for ECSU. They had a leadoff double followed by a stolen base with 1 out that put a man at third base with less than 2 outs. They were unable to get anybody home. Here's the first pitch to Merlin. Inside corner, 0-1.
As we mentioned earlier, John, the key when you're playing UMass Boston is you've got to capitalize. Eastern gets a leadoff double in the top of the first inning. And Alexander White, he steals third, and he gets stranded there. You've got to capitalize.
Low 0-1 pitch missed in, 1-1. Absolutely. And since then, Burgos has really settled down. He had retired 8 in a row prior to that single by Scavone. The 1-1 Outside, 2-1 to Merlin Herrera. Anthony Stigler is on deck.
None of these UMass Boston pitchers have a complete game this year, although no opposing pitcher has thrown a complete game. But that might be more for Bobby Tremendozzi than anything.
Base hit to left field as now back-to-back singles. Merlin Herrera follows up DJ Scavone as that one eluded Eddie Riley's glove. Yeah, as you said, Bobby Tremendozzi, the program leader in saves, program history, as he and UMass Boston haven't had to tax their starters all that much thanks to the success of their bullpen back end. That'll bring up Anthony Stigler, who now has an opportunity to get a run in with a base hit. First pitch to Anthony, misses low, 1-0. Anthony's 0 for 1. He flew out to left to begin the second.
Eastern with two freshman left-handed hitters in their lineup in Jack Rich and Anthony Stigler. Stigler played his high school ball just about 8 miles from Eastern up at E.O. Smith, which is basically shares a campus with the University of Connecticut.
The 1-0. Ground ball to the right side. Fowler gets there, fires to second. Huegi back to first in time to get Stigler. And the Warriors fail to convert a runner in scoring position again. A 3-6-3 double play and a beautiful play by all around as the Beacons strand one more runner. We will head to the bottom of the fourth. It's 2-0 UMass Boston.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. UMass Boston leading it 2-0. It's going to be McCormick, Herzog, and Cesare 5, 6, and 7 for Brendan Eigerbro's club. And Bob, last inning, again, 2 men on base, less than 2 outs, and the Warriors unable to get anything around.
I didn't really notice, John, but has Koster's been wearing 42 in this game? Because
they don't have his number 5 in this color jersey, oddly enough. And so he's wearing number 42 today.
Okay.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is a number already worn on your roster.
It is.
So, lucky him, as the first pitch here to McCormick is up and away. Brian Albee listed as 42. Sam Kostarich typically wears number 5 as the 1-0. Misses, 2-0.
They do have the dark uniform number in 5. Sam must have forgotten his uniform.
Well, we've all been there. Here's the 2-0.
You got a lot of stuff on your mind, especially during the exams.
Absolutely, as that one's laced foul up the left field line. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan McCormick, who singled and drove in a run back in the first inning.
John, going back to that top of the fourth inning, great defensive play to end the inning by UMass Boston. That's at least their 3rd outstanding defensive play in this tournament, in this game so far.
Absolutely, as Fowler made the stab on the hard grounder, and then a good turn from Huegi at short. The 2-1 on the outside corner with a breaking pitch, 2-2.
The impressive thing was Fowler's throw to second, because that's a tough throw without hitting the runner, and it was right on the money.
The 2-2 outside, 3-2. We can get a look at that double play that ended the top of the 4th inning after this at bat, perhaps, as the 3-2 is ensuing here from Kostarich to McCormick. The 3-2 pitch down in ball 4, and so the Beacons have a leadoff base run. Let's take a look, Bob, at that play. And as you see, what Bob was talking about, the play from Fowler at first, this is huge because an error and a run scores. He fires right there. And the amazing thing is Huegie's not at the bag when he's starting to make that throw. He's throwing at a target in midair, and he hit the money. So a leadoff walk to McCormick, and that brings up Herzog.
Burgos did a great job of getting over there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there waiting for the throw. I didn't watch him, but he must have sprinted.
Nick gets the bunt down, only plays it first, and firing over there is Parkos. And so sacrifice 5-4, and was it 3? 5-3.
It would have been 5-4 if it was softball.
Oh, it's 5-4.
That went to the Scavone
second baseman.
First. No, first baseman caught that. No?
Really doesn't matter in the
end. It was Scavone.
As the left fielder, number 11, the runner advances to second base.
Doesn't that drive you crazy in softball?
A lot of things drive me crazy about broadcasting softball, I'll tell you that much, Bob. Like how you can take players out and put them back in, and I don't know. This one's laced into left field. Hood is on the run, makes the play, and so Cesare is retired. One thing I'll always be amazed at is how a pitcher in softball can throw like 120 pitches, come out of the game, and then come back and pitch the second of a doubleheader and throw another 120 pitches. Now, Dave Wahlberg educated me and let me know it's because the underhand is a more natural motion, and so their arm strain isn't as high, but I have a feeling if I was doing the underhand 150 times, I'd be pretty winded.
Yeah.
But I'm not an athlete per se anymore, ever. As with 2 down, it brings up Sal Frascino. Misses outside, does Kostarich, 1-0.
The other of many unique things with softball also, John,
50 pitches now for Sam Kostarich. The 1-0. And Sal chops that one up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Russell pumps, has no play with Frascino's speed, and that's an infield single for Sal as the runners are at the corners for Charlie Huegi.
Russell did a nice job there of scooping it. That was a backhanded short hop. And he didn't have a play because of the speed of the runner, but he did keep that in the infield, or the score would be 3-0 right now.
Runners at the corners, 2 down, bottom half of the 4th as Charlie Huegi steps in, the 9-hole hitter. Charlie singled back in the second. It's 1 for 1. The runner at third base is McCormick. The runner at first, Frascino. Breaking ball, carves the middle of the plate, 0-1.
My guess, there, John, in this game is that if Eastern stays tough and is in contention in the late innings, it's going to be a game where they're going to probably avoid a lot of landmines. Leaving a lot of people, hopefully leaving a lot of people on base from their standpoint. A lot of Boston people on base. Because Boston, it's a rare inning where Boston's going to go quietly.
So far through 3, Boston has left 2 men on base. They were both back in the first. ECSU's left 3 so far, as swinging and fouling that one off his foot was Charlie Huegi. It's 0-2.
The other thing I was going to say, another unique thing about softball is that you can be a starting pitcher, leave the game, and then come back in and relieve. So there are instances technically where you could qualify under the rules as the winning pitcher and getting a save, which can happen, but you can qualify for both.
Like I said, a lot of the intricacies of softball send me for a tailspin as the 0-2 is coming here from Kostarich. There goes Sal. It's outside. Fake throw is just waiting to come home was McCormick, as we see that a lot here in this tournament. The steals second with the runner at third. In fact, in, I believe, the East Conn game against Plymouth State, we saw that taken advantage of.
Great pitch to steal on 2, low and away. He really had no chance with the speed of Frashino also.
Here's the 1-2, and Charlie skies this one to left center field. Hood is on his horse towards the track and makes the play as his cap falls off in front of Alexander White. So the Beacons do indeed strand 2. They have now stranded 4 overall, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We head to the 5th. It's 2-0 UMass Boston.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
Fernando Burgos back out there for the 5th inning.
Yeah, they can do it. That's up to you. Yeah, I'll finish this half inning. Can they jump in after this half inning?
Top half of the 5th. John Scudras, Bob Malta here. Beacons leading the Warriors 2-0. The winner of this one advancing to tomorrow in the winner's bracket, which means they will have to lose twice to whomever comes out of the loser's bracket. The loser of this has to play at 6 o'clock tonight against the winner of Dartmouth, Rhode Island College. The Warriors, meanwhile, will send 7, 8, 9, Russell, Keller, and Hood to the plate against Burgos here in the 5th, as Fernando, once again in the 4th inning, tiptoed his way out of trouble. He allowed 2 men on base with less than 2 outs, but a beautifully turned double play, 3-6-1, ended up ending the inning.
Going back to the last out of that 4th inning, that catch by Ryan Hood, that was a very good catch. I mean, the wind was swirling, and he went a long way to get that into left center field. The thing with Hood, this is his first year as a full-time outfielder. White. Alexander White was the starting left fielder. He moved to center when Alex Zachary, the 2-time All-American, graduated. So this is his first year in left field, and he's played a very, very strong left field.
Brings up Colin Russell, who was 1 for 5 yesterday. Drove in a run as well, as the first pitch to Russell is a little low, 1-0. Colin grounded out to second his first time up. Right-handed hitter against the right-handed pitcher as the 1-0 pitch is lifted into center field. Sal came in, now has to move back. He's got it. 1 down. And it brings up Dale Keller.
You really have to play small ball, it appears to be, on this field, John, because it's so expansive. There's so much room in the outfield that you've got to try and put 2 and 3 hits together.
Yep. I mean,
score runs.
You're right, and there's the power alleys in right center and down the right field line about 100 feet away from the right field line that are just cavernous, similar to Fenway Park, but at the same time you also have the right down the right field line, which is shorter, and of course you have the shorter distance but the taller wall, the little monster in left field. Here is the 1-0 to Keller, and that one is right there, 1-1.
I would have to think when teams come here to play that they the batters may not be quite sure how to go about this field. You know, do you try and put it over the monster, or do you try and go to the opposite field?
Not just the batters, but the fielders as well, with the fact that it's a fully turf field. So even the dirt infield is faux dirt, if you will, as that one's rifted to right field for Dale Keller, who gets his first hit of the day. A base hit to right. He's 1 for 2. It's a 1-out base runner for Ryan Hood. And obviously the ball bounces differently off turf than it would off of dirt. And so practice, batting practice and fielding practice, pretty critical if you're unfamiliar with the confines of Monon Park.
It might give you a truer hop, but also it's probably coming at you a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, as Burgos' pickoff move to first is not in time.
So Ryan Hood, he has only batted in the leadoff spot or the number 9 spot all season long, and most recently in the 9 spot.
Takes that one on the inside corner, 0-1. Watch out for Keller. He has 6 stolen bases in 7 attempts. That's good for 4th on the team. Not a large lead at all, though. As the 0-1 is popped up. Playable. Who wants it? Riley called off. Oh, and Fernando makes the play. Charlie Huegi runs into him. They'll share a few words about whose ball that is. Typically, you want your middle infielder calling off your pitcher. I think Charlie says he might have, but all's well that ends well if you're a Beacons fan. 2 down.
The good thing there is that they, at the very last minute, they didn't both look at each other and let the ball drop. So at least Burgos took charge.
Brings up Alexander White. He's 1 for 2, doubled and stole a base in the first and grounded out to third on a beautiful play by Riley in the 3rd inning. Burgos gets his sign. First pitch is a breaking ball, lifted left center field. Sal on a run, he's there. And again, the ball just dies out there in front of the warning track, and the inning is over. So the Warriors, 5 shutout innings so far from Fernando Burgos. They get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and leave 1 man on. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Still 2-0 UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
We head to the 5th, and the Beacons leading it 2-0, heading to the bottom of the 5th, and say goodbye to Bob Multa, the ECSU SID, and hello to former Beacons catcher and current Beacons director, Anthony Searles. Anthony, thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here. It's a great day for baseball.
It certainly is. Beautiful weather and a beautiful day for the Beacons as they lead it 2-0. Couple of fine defensive plays, and an offensive catalyst steps up as Eddie Riley, who started off the ball game with a single, scored a run in the first, also had a fine defensive play or two at third base, will lead things off. Eddie is 1 for 2. He grounded into a double play and single.
Yeah, Eddie Riley's really stepped into this leadoff role for the Beacons very well. Throwing a couple guys around there early in the year, trying to find that one-hole guy, but Riley, I mean, got a little power, more power than most leadoff guys, but he stepped in very well, and he's been a great catalyst at the top of this lineup for the Beacons.
Now, you've obviously played with a lot of these guys, so I have to ask, who is the funniest member of this Beacons baseball team?
Wow, that's a tough question right there. There's a couple.
Because I can think of a couple candidates already that I know.
There's a couple. There's the obvious Witowski, Carasoto. But guys that people might not know is a Kyle Boudris.
Yeah.
Doesn't really talk much.
1-1 misses outside.
But when he does, he's got some funny things to say. Who else we got over there? I think those might be the guys right there. I mean.
Now, who's the least funny? The most serious. The guy who you tell a joke to or you joke around with, he tells you to stop, and I'm taking batting practice right now. 2-1, that one on the outside corner.
Now that's a question right there. That might have to be a newcomer. I'm
Yeah?
not too sure. Yeah, most of the guys, I mean, I've played with most of them. They're very laid back. A lot of the guys playing loose. I mean, that's the best way to play. But a lot of the guys are very loose. There's not too many too stiffies out there. So I don't know. I think that would probably be a newcomer if I had to say.
Kostarich ready. The 3-2 to Riley. Grounded foul. Stays 3 balls and 2 strikes. It'll be Riley, Boudris, and Murphy. Well, there are plenty of newcomers. Ryan McCormick probably the one who's made the biggest impact. And I'm not just speaking of when he threw the ball at Fernando Burgos' face earlier in the game. Here's a 3-2 coming from Kostarich. And that one misses low, so a good start to the inning, as for the second time in this game, a leadoff base runner is Eddie Riley.
That's exactly what you want on the top of the order. I mean, I spoke on it before, Ed really stepping into that one hole, but working a count there. And he's done that all year. I mean, the Beacons have a great combination with the 9 and the 1 hole with Huegi and Riley. And Huegi was the leadoff for the beginning of the year for quite some time. Both of them, they work a great count. They make the pitcher work, throw a lot of pitches, and it really helps at the top and at the bottom of this lineup.
Pickoff move not in time, and that's always the thing. You talk about leadoff hitters, but you're only guaranteed to lead off once if you're leading off the top of the lineup. So you also want a guy batting 9th who can be a catalyst as well, because there's plenty of times where he'll be coming up in a leadoff type of situation as that one misses outside.
And with this Beacons lineup today, you also have Frashino in the 8 hole, who also could be a very productive leadoff guy, and even in the 6 hole with Nick Herzog, who works counts very well and gets some timely base hits, gets on, and all 4 of these guys that we're mentioning right now are all also base threats. They could steal at any time. They can steal second, third. They can turn a single into a double, double into a triple, and etc. So they got a couple guys in this lineup that could really work a pitcher's count and get him out of the inning, or get him out of the game quick.
1 ball and no strikes to Boudris. Kyle's 0 for 1. He grounded out to first and walked and scored. It's 2-0 UMass Boston. John Scudris and Anthony Searles with you here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Bottom of the 5th inning. There goes the runner. It's laced into left center. It's a base hit. Great base running from Riley as he was off with the pitch, and he'll head to third. Runners at the corners. Nobody out as the top of the order comes through again for UMass Boston.
That's exactly what you want there on that hit and run. Boo just executed that perfectly. And it speaks a little bit on Riley's speed, because that ball wasn't hit too soft. I mean, it was a hard line drive, 1-2 hopper right to center fielder White, who has a great arm, and Eddie Riley was able to get first to third. So it's great execution there by the Beacons.
And now trouble brewing for Kostarich and the Warriors, as UMass Boston has their most productive hitters coming up, beginning with Dave Murphy. Murphy's 1 for 2. He singled in a run in the first. He lined out to third in the third. It's his .333 average and 40 RBI that sends chills up opposing pitchers' spines as he launches one to deep left center field. White on the run. He makes a great leaping catch. Tagging and coming home is Riley. It's 3-0, but an unbelievable effort from Alexander White to take a run away, perhaps, from UMass Boston, 1 down.
That is a phenomenal play in center field by White. And right on cue as I talk about his tremendous arm. He covered a lot of ground there, and that might be the best defensive play of the tournament so far, and there's been some great ones out there.
We'll get you a replay of that shortly as Alexander White, with an unbelievable effort, looking like Devon White out in center field. That may be a reference a little bit too old for some of you, as that was an unbelievable play. It brings up Chris Fowler with 1 down. And it's 3-0 UMass Boston as Riley came home. Runner at first remains Boudris. The first pitch misses down and away. Kostarich from the stretch. The 1-0 to Fowler. Chris watches that one bounce in front of the plate, 2-0. Fowler's 0 for 2. He grounded out to first. He flew out to center. Fowler came in hitting .388 with 7 homers, 43 driven in. The 2-0 on the outside corner, 2-1. Chris didn't think so. Wind blowing from left to right here probably helped to keep that ball hit by Murphy in the park enough for White to make a leaping catch. Here's the 2-1. That's low. 3-1 now to Fowler with McCormick on deck. From the stretch, Kostarich, a 3-1 pitch. Ground ball right side. Tough play here for Russell. He's going to have to just go to first. Boudreaux advances to second, 2 down, as Fowler's now 0 for 3.
That's a great pitch there from Eastern. A 3-1 count with Fowler's nothing you want to be in as an opposing pitcher, but you still want to be competitive. You don't want to walk them and put guys on for McCormick, who's another RBI guy for the Beacons, especially with Herzog on deck, who also is one of the Beacons' top producers. So that's a great pitch. I mean, gets Fowler to roll over. Not the double play that you want, but you'll absolutely take one in that situation instead of putting a guy on.
Brings up McCormick. Ryan has had himself a solid day at the dish. He's 1 for 1. First pitch to him, breaking ball, good placement, 0-1. McCormick had an RBI single in the first. He walked in, was stranded in the fourth. Beacons leading it 3-0 as they will look to clinch a berth in tomorrow's championship round. Loser of this will have to come back and play at 6 o'clock tonight here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network against the winner of the second game of our triple header between Rick and Dartmouth. As from the stretch, McCormick gets his sign, or rather Kostarich, and brings home the 1-1 towards McCormick. In the dirt, good block from Herrera. Now fired a second. Dangerous play. As really no chance of getting Boudreaux. Of course, Anthony Searles knows a thing or two about pickoff throws from catchers. Anthony played for years here as the Beacons backstop. Now, for you, which would you rather do? Would you rather wait around 5 hours after playing 9 innings to play another 9, or would you rather immediately come back 30 minutes later and play?
I'd rather have the straight doubleheader right after another. Yeah, sitting around is just no fun. I mean, for the Beacons, it might be a little better because it's home turf, so they can go back to their apartments and relax a little more. But even then, sometimes you could just relax too much and not really flip the switch back to game mode when you get back out here. It's much easier to keep focused when it's just back-to-back.
May lend itself tonight because the loser of this game will have to wait for a few hours. And last thing you want to do is get cold against a team like Rick, who can really rake it. As that one's grounded to second, Russell over to first. McCormick is retired 4-3, and that retires the side. However, UMass Boston does get a run on the board. They do so on one hit and strand one man on base. Beautiful effort by Alexander White. Saves at least one run, but the Beacons get it on an RBI from Murphy. We head to the sixth. It's still 3-0 UMass Boston.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Fernando Burgos back out there for the top half of the sixth inning. He's pitched a shutout so far. Let's take a look at that play by Alex White with Murphy at the dish. And Anthony, just an unbelievable effort. You see where White is. He's left center field, so he just has to go back, but the range he covered and the play smashing into the wall, great stuff.
Yeah, and just the leap itself. I mean, that ball was up the walls a good way. He had to get up there a little bit, but it's just great concentration. And like you said, making contact with that wall, it's a great job to hang on to it and even get it back into the infield as quick as he did. It's a great job. That was a great inning by Eastern to really minimize the trouble. I mean, they had guys on first and third and got away with just 1 run. So that's a great job from them, limiting just the 1 and a phenomenal play out there in center by Alexander White.
It'll be 2, 3, and 4, beginning with Jack Rich for the Warriors, who are trying to battle their way back into contention in this one. They trail 3-0, top of the 6th inning, as UMass Dartmouth ball players have just begun to walk up here into the stands at Monin Park, awaiting their game at 2:30, as the Beacons see Burgos remain out there. Burgos has scattered 4 hits. He has walked just 1 batter. That came back in the 1st inning. Since then, he has been very solid with his command as he misses outside 1-0. Rich is 0 for 2. He flew out and grounded out. From the windup, the 1-0. Ground ball up the middle. Tough play for Huegi and a diving effort, but he won't get there. It's a leadoff single for Rich, who now continues to swing a sweet stick. He has 4 hits in this tournament after having only 6 all year.
Yeah, he's been a great catalyst at the top of this lineup for Eastern Connecticut. Hitting behind Alexander White and hitting in front of Parkos. That's a big spot in the order right there, and he's done a great job all tournament.
Parkos steps up. He's 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out. As the first pitch misses down and away, 1-0 to Parkos. Alex came in hitting .333, 5 bombs, 39 driven in. .1-0 pitch is laced back up the middle, and now Burgos running into some trouble. Back-to-back singles as Parkos lines one to center. Frashino gets it in quickly. However, now first and second, nobody out for DJ Scavone.
This is a huge inning for Eastern right here. Guys on first and second, no outs with one of your big guys up here. You need to get at least one here and try and get the momentum back on your side. But at least one for Eastern is required here.
And now we're going to have a meeting on the mound as they're going to discuss this with Burgos, how they want to approach Scavone. Of course, DJ, one of the best hitters in the lineup, 302, 7 homers and 34 driven in the regular season. And to make matters even worse, he's been playing well today. He's got a walk and a single this afternoon.
Not only is he one of the best hitters in the Eastern lineup, but even in the conference, and that's tough with the LEC being as good and competitive as it is. He is one of the guys that you got to be very, very careful with. There's a lot of pitchers out there that'll tell you he's a very tough out, and he's one of the guys that you do not want to see up with guys on base.
Well, unfortunately, he is who Burgos sees with guys on base, as nobody out, runners at first and second, and the tying run steps up to the dish in DJ Scavone. He's 1 for 1, walking a single today. First pitch is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Beautiful weather. We had nice weather to start the triple header on Wednesday, and then the fog rolled in. Yesterday it was pretty solid as well. The 1-0. Ground ball right side. Might be 2. Flip to second for 1. Over to first. Double play. 4-6-3 twin killing. And just like that, as DJ Scavone slams his helmet against the fence up the first base line, the Beacons have 2 for the price of 1.
Speaking of Scavone throwing his helmet down there, you've seen that a lot from the Eastern hitters today. I mean, striking out, throwing their bats, tossing their helmets back to the dugout. So they've been frustrated with Burgos here, and I mean, Burgos has great movement. He's a tough guy to face, but I mean, that's another great job there, getting that ground ball. It's exactly what you want, and that's a great mound visit there by Daniel Gamble as McCormick blocks that ball and keeps it in front of him, because it's exactly what he went out there and told him. He slowed him down. Told him, relax, trust your pitches, let him move, and it'll work for you. Trust your defense, and the Beacons have a phenomenal defense, one of the tops in the league, and that really worked out there for Burgos there.
1-0 misses outside, 2-0. To Merlin Herrera. Merlin's 1 for 2, singled and grounded into a 6-4 fielder's choice. Yeah, Dan Gamble really pulled the right strings there as they get the ground ball. Of course, he did a great job on the broadcast as well the other day, the 2-0. Misses in. Of course, then he made fun of my shirt earlier today, so my love for Dan Gamble's gone. Not really. He said, take Tiger. I'm wearing the Tiger Woods red shirt. And all I told him was, I hope you guys win more than Tiger today. Which, right now they are. 3-0, although 3-0 count now to Merlin Herrera. And that one is ball 4, down and away. And so for the second time in this inning, the tying run will step up to the dish. It's Anthony Stigler. Anthony has 1 home run this year, 260, 1 homer, 26 driven in. However, he is 0 for 2 today. Flew out to left and grounded into a double play. Yeah, in fact, Stigler has had a tough tourney. As he will step into the left-handed batter's box. Yesterday, Anthony was 0 for 3. In Game 1, he was 1 for 4. So combined 1 for 9 here in the LEC tournament as the first pitch misses in, 1-0. After Stigler will be Colin Russell if he can reach. Now, the runner's at the corners, 2 outs. They'll need a single in order to get a run home. The 1-0 off the screen, 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody warming right now for either club. Out in the bullpens in right field. The 1-1 is going to have to hold as it's a fake to third, look at first play, nothing going. Herrera doesn't run well. He's a catcher, but of course I shouldn't say that. I'm talking to a catcher right now. I don't want to offend you backstops too much.
Yeah, some of us can move. Some of us are sneaky quick. We might not be fast, but we can be quick sometimes. You never know.
You're not one of them, though.
Hey, I stole some bags in my time.
Yeah, in your time, I mean, compared to, like, some catchers, yeah, I agree. Some of you guys are, like, lugs back there, but
I was in the middle of the pack on the
I think I remember
team.
seeing you hit, like, was it a triple or an inside-the-park homer?
Hey, I had quite the amount of triples in my career as well.
I remember.
I did it all. I did a little bit of everything.
Jack of all trades, which is what you are. You
master of none.
I think you'll selling yourself short there a little as that one misses down and in, 3-1. I mean, we haven't seen somebody so proficient at the TriCaster, other than Rachel Maslak, since Carl Poss was on campus a few years back.
Yeah, Rachel does a great job. You cannot count out Alyssa Fugel as well over there as her sidekick.
Fugel is good with graphics. If you ever put her on the TriCaster, I don't know, as that's laced to left field, a base hit for Stigler. So Anthony gets his second hit of the series, or batting 200 now in the tournament, and just like that, it's 3-1. And that leadoff single comes back to bite him.
And that's where that walk really comes back to bite you. I mean, Herrera's had a pretty good tournament in his own, so he's a tough guy to face, but walks, they'll come back and bite you. I mean, especially a 4-pitch walk, I believe it was, to Herrera. So Burgos really has to bear down here. I mean, after the ground ball from Scavone, you thought Eastern would roll over, but they're fighting here. I mean, they're no slouches in this Eastern lineup. So Burgos really has to focus up here and really get this out with just the 1 run in the inning.
This is Colin Russell now. Russell, right-handed hitting second baseman. He's 0 for 2. He flew out to center and grounded out to second. Beacons leading it 3-1, trying to clinch a trip to the championship series tomorrow and earn the rest of the day off, as that one's on the outside corner, 0-1. Of course, yesterday the Beacons triumphant over Southern Maine after beating Dartmouth in the opener. Joey Rogers and Brian Coffin pitching in the opener. Yesterday it was Morin, McGuire, and Tramandozzi. Tremontosi threw 18 pitches yesterday, so I'd expect him to be available today. What a performance by JT Morin. 10 strikeouts over 7 innings.
Yeah, against a very tough Southern Maine lineup, and he had 10 strikeouts, which, I mean, for my time playing with the Beacons, Southern Maine really isn't a strikeout team. I mean, they go long ball often, and
that one foul. That's probably going to get out of play, and it will.
Yeah,
1-2.
Back to that Southern Maine lineup. Yeah, they don't strike out much, and JT just had his stuff. I mean, he really did throw outstanding. And that's what JT's capable of from start to start. He's a guy. He had an injury last year. He got yanked early in his start against Rhode Island College last Friday, so wasn't really sure what you would expect out of JT. But he's a bulldog day in and day out, and he threw a very, very great game and eliminated a very tough Southern Maine team, which could be huge later in this tournament.
Fernando Burgos trying to get himself out of a tough inning. The 1-2, that one cue shot, first base. Fowler flips it to Fernando, and the inning is over. 3-1 on the putout. However, the Warriors are fighting back as they get on the board. They do so, getting the 1 run by the benefit of 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Still 3-1. UMass Boston on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
I know. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. John Scudris, Anthony Searles here. Beacons leading it 3-1, bottom of the 6th inning. UMass Boston with 6 hits. ECSU with 7 now. So really, it's been Fernando Burgos who's worked his way out of a couple of jams, not only last inning, but also in the first, he allowed 2 runners on base, didn't allow a run. In the fourth, he allowed 2 runners on base with less than 2 outs, didn't allow a run. And then last inning, he gave up the run, but definitely a chance for more that he was able to wiggle out of, as Nick Herzog will lead things off. Nicky is 0 for 2. He grounded into a fielder's choice in the first and grounded out to third in the fourth. Herzog, solid speed from the right side. He's really the type of player that can do a little bit of everything. Good fielder, got a little pop in that right-handed stick. He's a speedy player, and he also drives and runs. 30 RBI this year.
Yeah, and he was the big clutch guy for the Beacons last year as he grounds one out to Keller here at shortstop. Went out for Eastern. Zog, you could praise him all day. He's a guy that really works hard on and off the field. Last year was the regional MVP, had a couple game-winning hits. I mean, he really does. He does it all. He's always hustling. He's a guy that you want to follow, and that's one of the reasons he's a captain here for the Beacons this year.
Anthony Cesare steps in, 0 for 2.
Left fielder number 11, Anthony Cesare.
A couple of flyouts to left field for the Beacons left fielder. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. No substitutions yet in this one, as the Beacons now do have action in the bullpen. A right-hander is warming. As the 1-0 pitch is breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Looks like
Mike Doherty.
39 might be Mike Doherty. Yeah, that's what I'm getting there too. It's definitely a 3, but just going off of the pitching motion and then the glove over there, it looks like Doherty's getting loose in the Beacons bullpen there.
That one grounded foul by Anthony Cesare as it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to UMass Boston's left fielder. Doherty has been a solid cog in the bullpen for Brendan Eigerbrodt this season. If he is indeed the next pitcher, he comes in with a 3-0 record, a 3.80 ERA. Yeah, I believe that is Mike. In case you're wondering, our center field camera is having technical difficulties here for Game 1. Never easy. We should anticipate having it back in action for the next game. As the 1-2 pitch is just off the outside corner, 2-2. Of course, I'd hate to be the guy or girl who has to stand out there for 3 hours when you're literally not doing anything.
I actually did it one of the last games of the year for the Beacons. It's just not too bad. It's a great view. You get to see the whole field. As long as it's not too cold, too windy, it's not too bad up there.
That one was fouled out of play as it went into the Beacons dugout. Beautiful day for baseball, as you can see on your screen. The blue sky cascading through the center field viewpoint. And right now, the Beacons trying to continue what has been an offensive and defensive clinic, as this one is ripped to right field, and they do, as Anthony Cesare will get his first hit. It's going to be extra bases. He might think 3. Anthony is going to gallop for third, and he's going to get there. He could have been standing. He'll slide for his efforts. But Anthony Cesare with a 1-out triple, and the Beacons 90 feet away from getting that run back with Sal Frascino stepping up.
That's just a great spot to hit the ball out there, 380. Cess, not the fastest guy, but legs out a triple there. You see Wanderson Pinales coming in a pinch run. But that's just a great job by Cess. I mean, he even slowed up at second base. It didn't look like he was gonna try for third, but saw third base coach Bobby Barrett wave him around and got there. And like you said, could have been standing up, but probably just a little tired. I legged a couple of those out in my career. Not the best time, but it's a great hit nonetheless by Cesare. And Frascino has an opportunity here to get that 1 run back for UMass Boston.
So 1 down, Sal will step in. They bring the infield in, wanting to keep this game at 2 runs. And the first pitch from Kosteric fouled right back off the screen. As Frascino's behind 0-1. Charlie Huegie's on deck, but this is a big at bat because Sal, with anything into the outfield, is probably scoring Wanderson Pinales. He has got unbelievable wheels and long strides. But he's going to have to get it through the pulled-in infield in order to do that. Here's the 0-1. A pitch out. How about that? Anticipating a squeeze, perhaps.
Yeah, that's not a bad scout there by Eastern. I mean, Frascino's a guy who can really handle the bat well. I mean, with the dual threat of speed with Pinales at third and Frascino at the plate, that's not a bad call there. I mean, it's only 1 ball, so you could sacrifice 1. So you never know. Could have worked.
The 1-1 coming to Frascino. Ground ball up the middle, base hit for Sal Frascino. Sal comes through the drawn-in infield, right back up the middle, and the Beacons get the run back in their 3-run lead again. It's 4-1 here in the 6th inning. Beautiful piece of hitting from Sal Frascino.
Yeah, that's a great job. Work in the middle. I mean, that ball was hit very hard. I think even with the infield back, he either legs out an infield single on a diving play from the middle infield, but it was a great job. And now this is where you got Frascino can turn a single into a double here with a stolen base.
There he goes, as Anthony said, and he will turn it into a stolen base as Sal Frascino is back into scoring position with 1 down.
And just like we were talking before, now you got Charlie Huegi up, who's a tough out. I mean, he works the count. He puts the ball in play, and at the 9-hole today, it really is just a double leadoff with Riley behind him here. These guys can really produce another run here. Get 2.
The 0-1 coming. And Charlie grabs it to second, gobbled up by Russell. 4-3 on the putout. Sal moves over to third, and so Eddie Riley will step in, but it'll take a single or an error to get Sal Frascino home. You talk about the resilience of the Beacons. They gave up a run in the top of the 6th. The lead cut from 3-0 to 3-1, and they come right back out. A 1-out triple from Cesare, followed by the single through the drawn-in infield from Frascino. It's 4-1. So here's Eddie. He's had a productive afternoon. Singled, walked, grounded into a double play. He scored 2 runs as the first pitch is up and away. It's exactly what you're looking for out of your leadoff hitter. One-0 pitch, breaking ball, misses way in. It's 2-0. Of course, stay tuned after this one, folks. We will have game 2 of our triple header between Rhode Island College and UMass Dartmouth. The 2-0. Ground ball, third base. Foul. Just to the left of the bag. Eddie Riley, the batter. The runner at third base is Sal Frascino here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kostarich still in the game. The starter for ECSU down 4-1. Timeout called by Eddie. Happy Mother's Day weekend, by the way, to all those moms out there. I'm sure a lot are tuning in here to the BBN. Happy day to you on Sunday. As that misses in, 3-1. Three-one pitch, and Eddie swings and misses. Took a mighty hack at that one. It's 3-2. So the Beacons already with a run in this inning on 2 hits, trying to get another in with Frascino 90 feet away, but Riley evened up 3-2. Kostarich, the payoff pitch. Grounded foul, actually chopped off the screen, and that might have hit Merlin Herrera's bare hand.
Yeah, it looks like it hit him right in his throwing hand there. He jumped up, started flailing it around, clenching his hand a little bit. That's it's never a fun thing there. Tell you what, getting hit by those foul balls, it'll take a toll on you.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
That's for sure.
I had a hard enough time watching you, Anthony, when you were doing 18-inning doubleheaders, crouched down there for hours at a time. I don't know how your knees took it. I'd imagine in about 10 years you'll be wondering why you did it.
Starting to catch up to me already.
Already, yeah.
Tell you what.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Eddie Riley as the Beacons lead it by 3 runs. Riley has already scored 2 runs in this game. Sal Frascino's at third base after an RBI single and a stolen base, followed by a ground out. The 3-2 pitch. That one's launched out of play up the third base line, and I mean launched, as that one landed on the 45-yard line of the James Cotter lacrosse and soccer field.
That's a great job by Eddie Riley there, too. I mean, that ball was in just enough where it most likely would have been called a strike, and the only thing he really could do with that is pull it foul. So it's a great job from him to just get it out of there and get to the next pitch.
Kostarich ready. Another 3-2. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and he continued to pound the breaking balls, and Riley finally bit. So the Beacons get a run. They do so on 2 hits, no errors, and leave 1 man on base. We head to the 7th inning. Time running out for ECSU. They trail 4-1.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
We head to the 7th inning. Some defensive changes here as Wanderson Pinales, who came in as a pinch runner for Anthony Cesare, moves to right field, and Nick Herzog moves to left. Now, is that just because there's more ground in right field? Because Herzog starts in right, so maybe it's just comfortability with the monster?
Well, Zog's a guy who could play all 3 positions, and actually same with Pinales. I think it's just an arm strength kind of thing here. Wanderson has a phenomenal arm, and nothing to take away from Herzog. He's got a great arm in his own. But yeah, I think it's just Pinales is just more comfortable in right field as well. And Zog's played left field for a lot of his career as a Beacon, knows how to play the monster, and really can cover some ground there. But I mean, with the outfield that they have now with Herzog in left, Frashino in center, and Pinales in right, you really can't go wrong wherever you put those guys because they all cover tremendous ground.
Fernando Burgos remains out there despite Doherty warming up last inning. Burgos hits the outside corner. This is Dale Keller, who's 1 for 2. Keller singled and struck out in this ball game as he's now behind 0-2. It's going to be Keller, Hood, then the top of the order, Alexander White. As the Warriors, who finally got on the board last inning on an RBI from Anthony Stigler, will try to get back within 2. They had cut it to 3-1 before giving up the run last inning, as it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dale Keller. The 1-2, down and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dale. Back on the mound, working quickly. Fernando, fastball in. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And you hear Keller, you see Keller like talking to himself. Not happy perhaps with the way his day has gone. Run the windup. The 3-2 pitch. Just a bit outside, and so that is a big leadoff walk. Burgos didn't like the call. Stares out towards right field. And so Ryan Hood steps up, and a leadoff walk, the last thing you want in a 3-run game in the 7th.
Yeah, it's tough, too, for the Beacons and Burgos because he started off the count 0-2. So you expect him to put away that batter, at least have him make contact. Burgos just got a little out. Was a little out, little down. And he didn't like that last call. But the reason he might not have got it is because of those 3 previous balls were so far out that the umpire really wasn't expecting him to hit a black spot on the plate.
He can still have action in the bullpen if Burgos runs into trouble. Right now he has fallen behind Hood 1-0. Hood squared around to bunt the first time. It's this time he swings. Frashino to his left, and he'll make an easy grab in right center field, 1 down.
That might have been a spot right there for Eastern, maybe to actually put down the sacrifice bunt with no outs, guy in first, and one of your best hitters in the top of your lineup here with Alexander White. That might have been a good spot. Try and sneak a run here for the Beacons, but White's a good hitter in his zone. He could put him gap to gap, so I mean, he's got to come through big here for Eastern.
Definitely agree, especially if they hadn't given up a run last inning and it was still just 3-1, trying to cut it down to 1 run. But Beacons have, for the most part, done a good job keeping the distance between the Warriors and themselves today. They scored 2 in the first inning on RBI singles by Murphy and McCormick. They then scored again in the 5th on an RBI flyout from Murphy. That one hits the plate, 0-2.
I expected a bunt there from Eastern as well, not only for the top of the lineup, but yesterday we saw Keller, who's on first base, get thrown out trying to go second to home on a base hit to left field. So not really the fastest guy on the base path. Doesn't get a big lead as he tries to deke Burgos into a balk or pick over. But, I mean, White can go gap to gap, and he can absolutely fly, but it's more about the runner on first because, I mean, White can't get to third if Keller doesn't get to home. So you kind of want to advance your runners while you can, but nonetheless, White's here with a strike 2 call here and an 0-2 count, so see what he can do.
1 down here in the 7th. 0-2 count to White. A walk, a fly out, and now Alexander White with Keller at first, trying to keep the engines revving here for the number 2 seed in this tournament, Eastern Connecticut State. The 0-2. Down and away. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. I've not seen anybody warming up for EastCon, although it's possible that it's outside of our viewpoint, but I'm just looking. I see a lot of maroon jerseys, no one throwing, so Kostarich likely coming out again as that one is bounced. Good block from McCormick, but the count now even at 2.
Yeah, the good thing with Eastern Connecticut here and even the Beacons that they haven't really used their bullpen much in these first few games of the tournament, which is absolutely huge, especially with one of these teams eventually going to have to play again tonight. Keller's off on the pitch. Foul ball here by White. Bullpen's going to be huge. You need pitching. I mean, last night, Nick Riscotti, left-hander for Eastern, threw a phenomenal game. He's a spot starter and a reliever for this Eastern team, and I mean, he threw tremendous. Gave him a lot of innings. They didn't really need a bullpen, so I don't see anyone out there right now, but that could be the game plan. Try and use your starter as long as you can, and try and get the W so you don't have to use the bullpen later.
2-2 is again fouled out of play. Stays 2-2 to Alexander White, who had a phenomenal catch in center field earlier in this game. That off the bat of Dave Murphy. It was a sac fly, but could have been a lot worse if White didn't leap up and make a play before crashing into the wall to the left of the 379 in left center. Another pickoff move, not in time. Fernando from the stretch, the 2-2. That's in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
This is a count here right now that I wouldn't be surprised to see Keller in first base get a move on, even with the 1 out. I mean, White's a guy you trust with the bat. He knows he can really handle it there. And in ball 4, Keller doesn't really have to do much. But I would not be surprised here to see Eastern runners moving.
There he goes. Ground ball shortstop. Huegi on the backhand. Only plays to first, and he fires over to Fowler. 2 down. So starting Keller pays off, though probably wouldn't have gotten him anyway, as he is at second with 2 down. Brings up Jack Rich.
We got a timeout here by the Beacons. And Coach Agenbroek going out there to the mound.
And that's going to be it.
Into the pen. Wow.
So Fernando Burgos, his day is done. And with the left-handed hitter Jack Rich coming up, they're going to call on a right-hander, and it looks like it'll be Mike Doherty. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll get you a low down on Doherty and bring you Rich's at bat. We are in the top of the 7th inning. 2 outs, 4-1 UMass Boston.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. and it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's when it was launched.
So Brendan Eigebrodt decides to pull and replace Fernando Burgos here midway through the top of the 7th inning. Mike Doherty is the new pitcher. He's 3-0 with a 3.80 ERA. And Anthony Searles, you said off the air, this surprises you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we got the pitch count on Burgos, only 100 pitches even. So surprising, because I don't expect Burgos to come back in this tournament at all and throw. So, I mean, maybe they had a plan going into the game. They were giving him 100. But, I mean, nonetheless, Doherty's in the game. Very trusted reliever. His stats 3-0. So he's come down and he's held it down. Now he's just got to bear down and get this last out here. Get the Beacons in the dugout and get him hitting.
Doherty on the year. This will be his 14th game. As you see there, 3-0, 3.80. He in 21 and a third innings, giving up 15 hits and 9 earned runs. He struck out 15 and walked just 4 opponents, hitting .203 against him. However, he has given up a team-leading 3 home runs.
Big thing to watch in this game, like you just said, the home run. Doherty's given up a couple long balls this year. And with this Eastern Connecticut lineup, I mean, you miss one and they'll definitely make you pay. So, especially with the big boys coming up here, I mean, they got Rich right now, and then Parkos and Scavone right behind them. So, I mean, you really want to get this first guy here in Rich, but I mean, Doherty's got to keep the ball down. He's got to keep it in the infield if possible, and he's really got to focus up here for the Beacons and get a big out.
Fernando ends up going 6 2/3 innings. His line is not done, as the runner at second base, Keller, is on him. He can win it. He cannot lose it. As we are in the top of the 7th inning, 2 outs, Jack Rich steps up. Jack's 1 for 3. Fly out, ground out, single, and scored back last inning. Doherty will work from the stretch with the runner Keller at second. And Jack Rich is in. We are ready to go. Doherty gets his sign. Right-hander ready. And a breaking ball up and away, 1-0. You mentioned it. If Rich can reach, Parkos and Scavone come up as the tying runs. The 1-0. Swung on and missed at a ball low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, Doherty's got great pitches. He's got great movement. He's got good off speed. Big key for him right here is to just not even pay attention to Keller at second base. I mean, you really don't want to give up that run, but as we were saying before, not really the fastest runner, so I don't expect him to go anywhere. Don't let him deke you in anything. Just focus on the batter, because this is a huge at-bat here for both Rich and Doherty.
That one missed, and it's 2-1 now to Rich. From the stretch, Doherty's 2-1 pitch. Fastball popped up, playable. That should do it. Huegi calls off Riley, makes the play to retire the side. So Brendan Eigebrodt pulls the right strings as he brings in Doherty, who retires Jack Rich. Stretch time here from Monin Park. It's 4-1 UMass Boston.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
UMass Boston leads it 4-1, heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. Fernando Burgos' day is done. His final line, 6 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and only 2 strikeouts. He did not have the power today. He got the 2 strikeouts in the first 8 hitters, and then didn't have another the rest of the afternoon. But he is in line for a victory as Sam Kostarich remains out there for the ECSU Warriors, as they're going to ride him the rest of the way, well, at least for the remainder of this inning, you'd think. They have no one up in the bullpen. They, if they do lose, have to play another game in 6 hours, so they'd like to save as many bullpen pieces as they can. Because they're not going to have Kostarich. They're obviously not going to have Jordan Munchin, who pitched game 1 of this tournament. And in all likelihood, they're going to have to rely on the likes of Ogorzalek and company out of the bullpen tonight. Leading things off here in the 7th, it's Kyle Boudris. Kyle today, 1 for 2. He singled, grounded out, walked and scored. But most importantly, he was named one of the funniest beacons by Anthony Searles.
Very, very quietly, I might add.
A subtle humor that only affects those who know it.
That was the pitch there.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, for Kostarich, he pitched 2 days ago. And now he's coming up on 100 pitches, as this one is lined to right side for a base hit. So Boudris leads things off.
You know, with all the moves the Beacons have been doing, I wouldn't be surprised to see a pinch runner here. Actually, as Coach Agabro starts walking out to the ump, I would not be surprised. And here we go. Actually, Danny Brown coming out to pinch run for Kyle Boudris here.
So Danny Brown's the pinch runner for Boudris with nobody out and a insurance run sitting at first base. Boudris still standing at first base. Like, am I coming out? Yeah, I am. So Brown will head out there to replace Boudris. As Matt LeBranch will go out and discuss things with Kostarich.
Looks like we finally got some movement going on in the Eastern Connecticut bullpen there.
We certainly do.
Looks like
and that's it. That's going to be it for Kostarich. Wow. They don't even have him warm up. Maybe 1 or 2 throws.
If that.
I think that's actually Cole Ogorzalek. So we're going to go to a break and come back. When we do, we'll introduce you the new pitcher and get you the remainder of the 7th. It's 4-1 UMass Boston.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
The new pitcher is indeed Cole Ogorzalek, as he comes in with a 2-1 record and a 5.06. As I mentioned, he did pitch last night. He went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits and struck out 3. Didn't give up a run. He faced 8 batters and threw 35 pitches yesterday.
This might be a great time for him to come into this game as well. It looks like a little sidearm action. Maybe got that movement away from the right-handed batters with Murphy coming up here. It might be a good move. And while we got a second, a little shout out to a Beacon alum, one of my favorite bullpen guys, Steve Consiglio, listening to the broadcast right now. A little side armor in his own right. But yeah, this could be a good move here for Eastern. I mean, pitched a few days ago, so we'll see how he bounces back here.
Consiglio, who I remember for that herky-jerky motion on the mound, that tall, lanky frame, and the humor he brought. He was a color commentator for us here on the BBN last year, so if you don't remember him for his talents on the mound, you probably remember him for his talents on the mic.
And he might be one of the funniest Beacons.
Yeah.
When he was here, he brought some humor. But yeah, and Stevie brought it every day. That's for sure.
Dave Murphy is going to have to bring it as he misses, or sees this one miss low from Ogorzalek. Murphy today is 1 for 3. He's got 2 runs batted in, as pickoff move not in time. He had an RBI single in the first, line out in the third, and a sac fly in the 5th. As trying to steal second there is Brown, and they say he's out. I don't think he ever tagged him. Brown probably agrees. He's got his hands on his helmet. But that is out number 1. Is trying to steal second unsuccessfully is the pinch runner, Danny Brown.
Sometimes all you got to do is fake it. I mean, you sell the tag, and sometimes it really gets the umpires. I mean, might have been in a good position there, but I agree. I don't know if he ever tagged him there. But, I mean, hey, nonetheless, they got the out. Murphy's still in the box here. Still could do a little damage, so.
It's now 3-0 to Murphy. 3-0 pitch. Murphy taking all the way. 3-1 from Ogorzalak to Murphy. From the stretch, 3-1 pitch. Chop foul up the third base line. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 down.
Really interesting positioning here with the outfield of Eastern Connecticut. They got the left fielder Ryan Hood and center fielder Alexander White shifted more towards a pole, but they really haven't moved right fielder Stigler much at all. I mean, there's a lot of ground to cover out there, but Murph's a guy who can put it in the 420.
That's where he hit it, as the right fielder has to race back Stigler, and he makes the play. If that didn't have so much loft under it, that would have paid off with great fruition. But nonetheless, 2 down now. So Ogorzalak comes in, gets the caught stealing, and then the fly out, and that'll bring up Fowler with 2 out and nobody on. In the 8th, it'll be the middle of the order, 3-4-5 for the Warriors.
The first baseman, number 40, Chris Fowler.
First pitch to Chris, and he will be 0 for 4 as Fowler grounds out to the right side again. That's 3 groundouts to the right side today for the Beacons' first baseman as the inning is over. So Ogorzalak comes in and cleans things up. We head to the 8th inning. The winner heading to the championship tomorrow. It's 4-1 UMass Boston.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. As Alex Parkos leads things off, 8th inning. Doherty back out onto the rubber as big right-hander delivers. First pitch breaking ball. That's going to be over our heads and behind us. Marcelo Acuna has got the camera above us on the press box. I'm just waiting one day to hear, ow, and then collapse as he's crushed by a ball. Luckily, avoided it there.
Yeah, we were just informed from our stud worker, Alyssa Fugel, that Marcelo is not on camera 1 today.
Who is?
It might be Cassie Murphy. She might be up there today. She's been a very reliable camera 1.
0-2 now to Parkos. Parkos, Scavone, and Herrera as UMass Boston has the Warriors of East Conn down to their final 6 outs as that one's grounded to third. One down, well, excuse me, nobody out, nothing in 2 now. The Beacons, if they can get through the 8th inning unscathed, might have an easy go of it with Tramondosi likely to come in and the bottom of the order likely due up. But everything right now is in question. Here is the 0-2 pitch outside, 1-2.
Yeah, it looks like someone's warming up down there, and I think you're right. It looks like Tramondosi. No, actually, it's Pat McGuire getting loose out there, freshman right-hander. Could be just a bullpen, but could be getting loose. Not really sure, but we'll see where it takes us.
As striking out, swinging there is Parkos. What a pitch from Doherty, down and in. Parkos thinks he made contact, asking for an appeal with the first base umpire, and the home plate ump is saying no siree, and now Matt LaBranch is going to come get his 2 cents from the umpire, saying that that was indeed a foul tip.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if McCormick caught it. It's all moot anyway.
I think that's what Parkos is trying to say. I think he's trying to say that it hit the turf and McCormick scooped it. Tough angle from back here. Can't really see that, but Parkos seems pretty confident that he scooped it up, and LaBranch is fighting for him right here. No appeal looks like from home plate umpire, but it's gonna be one out here for Eastern, and Scavone at the plate.
Number 24, DJ Scavone. So that is the first strikeout for Doherty and brings up Scavone. Scavone is 1 for 2, walk, single, and a ground ball double play. As with 1 down, Doherty gets his sign. The first pitch to Scavone misses down and away. 1 ball and no strikes to DJ. UMass Boston leading it 4-1. 1-0 pitch. Down low, 2-0. Folks, stay tuned after this one, as the loser of this one will be certainly staying tuned because they're going to have to wait around until tonight to see who they'll play, as Rhode Island College and UMass Dartmouth will toil in Game 2 of our triple header. That one up high. Dartmouth got here by losing to UMass Boston in Game 1 of this tournament back on Wednesday. They then triumphed and eliminated Plymouth State on Thursday. Here's the 3-0 from Doherty, right down Broadway, 3-1. They then will face Rhode Island College, who defeated Southern Maine in a 2-day affair. One that was postponed due to fog on Wednesday, resumed on Thursday morning. They then lost to the CCSU Warriors team, as that one is ball 4 to Scavone. And so he has walked for the second time. 1 down, man at first for Merlin Herrera.
Yeah, and that Game 1 for UMass Dartmouth was a heartbreaker. They had 3 consecutive errors in the inning, which gave the Beacons a few runs, and they just didn't look back from there.
As that one misses. No, they're going to call that a high strike. Looked like it was high to Herrera, but the Beacons will take it. It's 0-1. Doherty takes a peek over at Scavone as Herrera awaits. Ground ball left side, base hit. So Merlin Herrera keeps the inning going, and now the tying run comes up to the dish in the form of Anthony Stigler. In fact, this is the second straight at bat that Anthony's been the tying run. Last time, in an RBI single, it cut it to 2. The Beacons have since made it a 3-run game, and we'll see how long they stick with Mike Doherty here. We mentioned they had Pat McGuire warming, but I don't see him throwing right now.
Yeah, it looks like he has since sit down. But it looks like a little activity going on there. It looks like throwing off the BP top. Someone's getting loose. That honestly might be Tramondosi. That might be, yeah, and it looks like, yeah, it is actually. It's number 12, right-handed Bobby Tramondosi. They might ask him to get maybe a 4 or 5 out save here. I see he looks like he's rapid fire right now. He's really hustling to get loose.
And the Beacons doing a good job stalling, because right after the catcher McCormick went out, now the entire left side of the infield joins Ryan on the mound. So the Beacons doing what you see all the time as Tramandosi begins warming, stalling for their closer. As the home plate umpire is going to head out there and hurry things along. Tramandosi, of course, pitched yesterday. Only threw about 18 pitches or so. So the Beacons are confident that he's ready to go if they need to bring him in for a multiple inning save. Right now we're in the top of the 8th. 1 down. First pitch to Stigler off the end of the bat, foul.
It's going to be interesting to see what the leash here is on Doherty. I mean, Tramandosi is a guy who could go multiple innings, so him getting 4 or 5 outs is nothing uncommon. But it's interesting. I see how this at bat goes and see how Coach Agabert really feels about it going forward.
The 0-1 pitch to Stigler, breaking ball. Ooh, look good. A little high, they say. 1-1. Runner at second is Scavone. The runner at first is Herrera. And the tying run is at the plate. Stigler's 1 for 3. Flew out, grounded into a double play. A well-turned double play, I might add. And has an RBI single as that curveball does hit the spot. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Colin Russell is on deck. As East Conn trying to get themselves back in this one. They have 8 hits compared to just 9 for the Beacons, but they have not been able to come through when they needed to. At least not on a consistent enough basis. As the 1-2 is ripped into left center field. Sal coming in, makes the play. Tries to double up Scavone, will not. So good range there from Sal Frascino, 2 away here in the 8th.
Yeah, it looks like Scavone was taken off right away, so great job by him to turn around and recognize that that wasn't going to fall, and understanding that Frascino covers a good amount of ground out there in center field. Good job on him to get back to the bag there, not get doubled up.
Brings up Colin Russell. Colin's 0 for 3, or at least Russell's the scheduled batter.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter here.
As he was pulled back at the last moment, and
looks like number 8 is putting his batting gloves on.
That would be Drew Alexopoulos, as they have Ogazalik on the mound and Alexopoulos at the dish do the Warriors. Alexopoulos, a native of Hanson, Mass. Standing 6'1", 205. Alexopoulos, a left-handed hitter.
Didn't look like he got much warm-up swings on deck. I don't even know if
he
was out there. Yeah, it's an interesting call there by Eastern. I'm really giving him the heads up.
Alexopoulos, in limited time this year, hit .375 to lead the team. As the first pitch to him is check swing, but he went 0-1. He was 6 for 16. He played just 9 games, started 3. 1 home run, 6 RBI. So he's definitely got good numbers, but didn't play much. The 0-1 coming. Breaking ball inside corner. Great placement, 0-2. So the tying run is Alexopoulos. And he is down in the count, 0-2 to Doherty, who's going to try to get through the 8th to set up the 9th for Tramandosi. The 0-2 pitch. Ground ball to shortstop. Huegi limbers over to second, and the inning is over. So Mike Doherty tiptoes into and out of trouble, but the right-hander has retired the Warriors in the 8th. 3 outs away, separating the Beacons from the LEC championship tomorrow. We head to the bottom of the 8th, 4-1 UMass Boston.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Beacons trying to get some insurance here as they will have 5, 6, and 7. It's McCormick, Herzog, and Pinellas due up. McCormick on the afternoon, he is 1 for 3. He had a RBI single in the first. He's also walked and grounded out as that one misses low, 1-0. This is indeed still Ogrzelig as Cole's 1-0 hits the outside corner, 1-1. One. Line back up the middle, the second hit of the afternoon for McCormick. So Ryan has had himself a solid day, with the exception of throwing the ball and hitting Fernando Burgos in the face earlier in the game. Other than that, he has been pristine.
Now, this is going to be an interesting call here for the Beacons with Herzog up. Do you bunt and then move the runner up for Pinellas, who is a potential strikeout candidate? Or do you do a hit and run or kind of let Zog swing away here?
I hate the bunt. I am not a small ball guy, and you think I would be because I've been a fan of a National League club my whole life, but I hate the bunt unless it's a pitcher. They are going to bunt, and he hit him in the face. Oh, my goodness. Herzog falls. He hit him. That should be the runner should be safe at second. He is. Now the home plate umpire, what are they going to call here? They're going to discuss this with the other umpires. Thought it was pretty clear that Herzog got plunked.
Yeah, and then Herzog just signaled it hit him in the hand, so that's a good sign.
I'll say.
It looked like it could have been the face area. So, I mean, we're going to have a conference here. Hopefully they can get this call. But I would agree, not being too biased here, but it did look like it hit Herzog. It looked like he pulled the bat back, so I don't know if you could call that a strike on him, but we'll see if anyone, if maybe they'll argue that it hit the bat.
And they are going to say it hit him. I mean, I don't see how you can make any other distinction.
Yeah. I mean, we can't really hear a ding off the bat with the headsets on from up here, but it sounds like
see if we can get that on the replay there, Rachel. I see you got it queued up in a moment. We got some time here for while they're discussing things on the mound.
Well, this brings up another interesting spot. No outs and Wanderson Pinellas at bat. You could potentially bunt runners into scoring position here for Shino, who's behind him here. So we'll see how the Beacons go here.
And here you go, as a replay of that pitch. And we're gonna slow it down a little bit. Oof, jeez. Yeah, definitely hit him. I mean, the ball stops.
Yeah,
didn't hit the bat either.
And you can tell he threw the bat behind him, so he wasn't even holding it. So, yeah, you could clearly see with that replay. It's a great job by our instant replay operator with Rachel Maslak over there.
Yeah, if you may know Rachel as a star volleyball player for the Beacons.
There it is again. It looks like Eastern's looking for the bunt. Let's see if the Beacons show here. With Frashino on deck, and Wanderson squares up right now.
Pick off the second, not in time. Now, my memory isn't as great as it used to be. I don't remember Wanderson being too great of a bunter.
He's actually not too bad. I mean, his speed makes up for everything, so he could put a bunt right back to the pitcher and potentially beat it out. But he's not a bad bunter. He could definitely get it down if need be. And he's a guy, much like Herzog, who was showing bunt before, who can put a sacrifice down and turn it into a hit.
He does get it down up the third base line, but foul. And I still am not a huge bunting fan, especially, I mean, you're up 3. You might as well just try to balloon this. You have Sal on deck, who's not exactly a run producer, though he did have an RBI single last time up. But I've been proven wrong time and time again, as there is a right-hander warming now for the Warriors. Just in case Ogrzelig begins to unravel here, I would presume. I don't think they want to burn too many arms, though.
This is where you might see the Beacons might... Oh, actually, Squares. I was going to say he might take it off here. Could do a little slash play. The Beacons do run that often with the middle infield moving so much, and that whole shortstop position wide open. You could see him pull back here and do a little slash and hopefully put it up the middle.
Right-hander Ogrzelik taking on the right-handed hitting Pinellas. The 0-1 pitch. He did just that, Anthony. How about that? That is analysis right there. The slash play was on, but it's fouled back.
I mean, it might be a little unfair because I kind of know what's going on in the Beacons dugout down there, but that's still a great call. I mean, middle infield's wide open, so all you got to do is really make contact and put it somewhere in the middle.
Jerry Remy doesn't even have that type of analysis right there. As Anthony Searles lets us know what's going to happen before it happens. Right now it's 0-2.
This is where you need Wanderson with 2 strikes. Just shorten up here. I mean, just make contact. As he shows bunt. So we'll see if he can get it down here.
And he hits himself and he strikes out. And again, that is a out-handed to the Warriors. Luckily, though, with a 3-run lead, you can afford to hand outs away for the time being, as 1 down brings up Frashino.
Now they need Sal Frashino to step up here. Big senior right now. He's got to put this ball in play. I mean, they got the speed out there. I don't think with the combination of Herzog at first and Frashino at the plate, very unlikely for there to be a double play unless it's hit very hard. But he's just got to put the ball in play here and just use his wheels.
First pitch to Sal, popped up but out of play up the third base line. 0-1.
And Sal's also a guy right now that even with the 1 out, guys at first and second, he can handle the bat very well. He is probably the best bunter in the Beacons dugout in the lineup. So even with 1 out, I wouldn't be surprised to see him put 1 down, and he can lay it down to both sides. And with his speed, it's almost a guaranteed hit.
The 0-1 pitch, that one lifted to left center field. White is on the run. He's got room, makes the play, 2 down. And so the Beacons, who got a leadoff single followed by a hit batter, are now in danger of stranding that opportunity, as it'll bring up Charlie Huegi.
The good thing for the Beacons here is, I mean, even if the Beacons don't produce a run here, they're still up 3, and they got their trusted reliever here, Bobby Tremendozzi, most likely coming into the game to hopefully close this out for him.
Huegi today is 1 for 3, single, fly out, ground out. Beacons leading it by 3 here in the 8th inning. First pitch to Charlie, breaking ball, 0-1.
If Eastern can get Huegi here out in any type of play, that's a huge momentum swing. I mean, guys on first and second, and they were giving him an out with Herzog, and hits a batter with no outs and getting 3 consecutive outs with no runs. That could be a huge momentum shift for Eastern coming up in the top of the 9th inning.
Back-to-back pitches missing, and so it's 2-1 now to Huegi, with the Beacons leading it 4-1. If UMass wins, they will be waiting till tomorrow to play. Meanwhile, East Conn will be waiting about 5 hours to play the winner of tonight's game. As that one's laced down the right field line, it's extra bases for Huegi. 1 run will score, 2 runs will score. Charlie hustles into third as UMass Boston blows it open. A 2-run triple for Charlie Huegi, and the Beacons lead it by 5. It's 6-1 here in the 8th inning.
That's a great job by Huegi there. Hit and run action. Very, very unexpected there from the Beacons, but it works out, and Charlie puts it in that perfect spot down there in right field where it's almost no ricochet off the wall, and he's a guy who could really move, gets that triple, and then again flips the order. I mean, Eddie Riley, he's no easy out in his own right, so this is going to be a real tough inning for Eastern here. You really got to minimize right now.
First pitch now to Riley is on the outside corner, 0-1. Riley today is 1 for 3. He singled and walked, grounded into a double play, struck out. He scored 2 runs. As he grounds this one to third, just foul, out of the diving grasp of Parkos.
Looks like the Beacons have someone else warming up not Bobby Tremendozzi. So it's going to be interesting. Can't really see a number here. It might be Josh Gearson. But they got someone else warming up there in the Beacons bullpen, so it's going to be an interesting move to see who the Beacons bring in here in the next half inning.
Well, now you've taken a 5-run lead. You're a hit away from getting 6-run lead as the 0-2 pitch is in the dirt. Good block there from Herrera. Maybe you saved Tremendozzi. He did pitch yesterday, and if you have to use him tomorrow when you might have to play 2 games, you wouldn't really want to pitch him 3 straight days and maybe 4 straight games. So if you can save him, why not?
And actually, I think that's Chris Monroe, it might be. Not Gearson, but nonetheless, we'll see that in the next half inning. But like you said, saving Tram is always a great call. I mean, he's a phenomenal pitcher, but you don't want to waste him when, like you said, might have to play 2 tomorrow, and he pitched yesterday. So
that one skied foul. Scavone would need rockets in his cleats to get that one, as that's out of play. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes as the Beacons see Charlie Huegi lumber back over to third. Riley will try to do it again. The Beacons in this inning, a single followed by hit by pitch, and then Pinal struck out trying to bunt. Frashino flew out to shallow center, and it looked like they weren't going to get anything out of it. The 9-hole hitter Charlie Huegi came through, and we said it as that one misses outside, full count, that having Huegi at the bottom of the order is like having a second leadoff hitter, and he showed why right there.
Yeah, he's just a tough out. He's a pest at the plate. He'll foul 10 pitches off, and then he'll get a hit, and it can really deflate a pitcher there.
Ground ball up the middle. There's the other insurance run. A base hit and an RBI for Riley. Riley's going to try to stretch it to 2, and he does. What a great hustle play from Eddie Riley as the Beacons shining away to victory as they lead it 7-1.
That's a great hustle play there by Eddie Riley. Saw it center fielder Alexander White wasn't really approaching that as fast as he would normally. And Eddie's just taking advantage. I mean, he got Alexander White to rush that throw, threw it away a little bit. Might have been a bang-bang play if it was on the money, but nonetheless, great job by Eddie Riley getting into scoring position here for Danny Brown's first at-bat of the day.
It is indeed Danny Brown as Danny steps on in. Brown on the year hitting .300. 3 for 10. This is his 17th game. 0 starts for Danny this year as the first pitch to him is on the inside corner, 0-1.
And I think now with the 6-run lead, it's almost obvious that Bobby Tremendozzi will not be in this game. Bobby, one of the most trusted relievers in Beacon history. He has a career saves record. Just passed a stud reliever, Dan Hefner, who's also listening in on this broadcast. So yeah, I don't think Tram. I think they'll save him for tomorrow with the championship game there.
Unless, of course, whomever they bring in, Monroe or otherwise, struggles, and they may have to bring in Bobby. But why, like you said, why burn him? As that one is down and away, 2-2 to Danny Brown.
That'd be huge for them tomorrow as well with Kaufman back. He pitched in game 1. He threw a good amount, so he'll be back for the championship game as well. To have both of them in the back end of your bullpen is a tremendous confident booster for the Beacons.
1-2, ground ball, second base. Gobbled up out there by Finaro. Fires over to first, and the inning is over. So the Beacons get the insurance runs they needed. They put 3 on the board. They do so by the benefit of 3 hits, a single, a triple, a double, and a hit by pitch. We head to the 9th inning. Last chance for romance for the Warriors, or they will be playing later tonight. They trail 7-1 on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
As you see, it is Doherty sticking out there. So Mike Doherty will try to close this one out himself, with his team giving him 3 more runs. And he'll have to do so against 8, 9, and 1, beginning with Keller, Ryan Hood, and Alex White.
Yeah, we're just going to forget everything we just said about the Beacons bullpen. Doherty looks like he's going to finish this game. Looks like everyone sat down in that Beacons bullpen, so it might be his game to finish, but we'll see here.
As the Beacons and the Warriors wrap things up here, it'll take a Herculean comeback for East Conn to deliver, as Dale Keller leads things off. Keller's 1 for 2, single, strikeout, walk. From the stretch, first pitch from Mike. It's right there, 0-1. A 1 pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dale Keller, as the Warriors, who have stranded 9 men on base through 8 innings, will look back at this one and wonder what may have been. Up until that last half an inning, they were only down 3, and they were evened up on hits pretty much with the Beacons. But their hitting with runners in scoring position today has been subpar at best. 2-1 pitch. That one's fouled off the screen, 2-2. East Conn's had a solid defensive tournament, and until now they'd had a solid offensive as well. They scored 10 runs yesterday against Rick. Doherty ready, and timeout called by Keller.
Yeah, nothing to take away from the East Conn lineup. In yesterday's game, Rick gave up a ton of walks, a lot of 3-2 counts. I mean, Eastern worked great counts. Good eyes, ton of walks. But yeah, the situational hitting today just really hasn't been there for him like it was last night, and that's something that you really need, especially late in an LEC tournament, and especially in a game where you could get an automatic bid to the championship game. You really need that, and they just haven't had it today. So, hopefully maybe they could snap out of this, make it a little more interesting. Get their confidence up. See a ground ball there for Doherty. 1 out here, and Herrera at the plate, or in Hood at the plate, excuse me. And then top of the order to follow.
Hood will keep this one going here as he lines this one into the gap. He's going to try to pull a Riley and stretch it to a double. He'll get there.
Yeah, Hood's quick. He's going to turn that into a double all day. It's a great job by him hustling out of the box, thinking 2 right away, and getting there for the top of the order here.
So with a 6-run advantage, Alexander White will face Mike Doherty with 1 down and a man at second base. White today is 1 for 4. He started this game out with a double, then with 1 out stole third. And as has been the case for much of the afternoon, the Warriors failed to bring him in. And that was just the start of what has been a frustrating day at the plate, as that one is right there, 0-1. The win is going to go to Fernando Burgos. He went 6 2/3, gave up 7 hits, 1 run, struck out 2 and walked 3. The loss would be Sam Kostarich's, though he did not pitch that poorly. As the 0-1 pitch now to White in the dirt. Good block there from McCormick. Kostarich went 6 innings, gave up 4 runs. Ogorzalek came in and pitched the last couple of frames. Gave up 3 runs in the 8th as the 1-1 is low. 2-1 to Alexander White. Jack Rich is on deck, followed by the middle of the order. To make this at least a little interesting, they'll have to get a few more batters before the heart of the order comes up. A few more runners, I should say. The 2-1, that one swung and missed. Good changeup. Way out in front of that was White. So 2-2 now to Alexander White, who made a fantastic play in center field earlier in this game on a sac fly from Murphy. Seen some great defensive plays from both teams. As here's the 2-2 from Doherty. That's in the dirt and a full count now. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how long of a leash they give Mike if he begins to allow base runners to reach.
Yeah, I think with a 6-run lead here, it might be his game unless he gets in serious trouble. I don't think even if he does allow a couple base runners, his hood is off on the pitch and steals third.
Called
with
strike
no throw.
3. Woohoo! That was a close pitch. White goes down looking. And that is the second out.
That's a huge strikeout there for Doherty. I mean, Hood, give him third all day. That run really means absolutely nothing. To get Alexander White is just a huge feat right there for Michael Doherty.
So it brings up the last chance now. It's Jack Rich. Rich has had a solid tournament. He's 1 for 4 with a run today. 1-0. Up and away. 2-0 to Jack Rich. Beacons trying to clinch a berth in the championship game as that's down and away, 3 balls and no strikes. UMass Boston, of course, would be in the title game for the second time in a row. As that one is on the outside corner for a strike, and the third time ever in school history. They won it in 2010 and in 2017. And now would be 1 win away from winning it in 2018, as this one is lined to left field, and Herzog, appropriately so, makes the play. The UMass Boston Beacons, for the second straight year and third time in 8 years, are heading to the 2018 Little East Conference Tournament Championship game. They defeat their rivals from Eastern Connecticut State by the final score of 7-1. And what a performance it was by the Beacons in winning today. The win goes to Burgos, the loss to Kosarich, as UMass Boston gets the job done. 7 runs on 12 hits, no errors, 1 run on 9 for East Conn. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, I will have an interview with the winning coach, Brendan Igabrot, from field level. Again, the Beacons win it 7-1. They are headed to the LEC Tournament Championship on Saturday.
Cheer for the stumbles, the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
here post-game with Coach Agabrot. And Coach, what a victory today. You guys really came to play. Fernando Burgos, your starter, had himself an exceptional performance. Got a bit into some trouble in that first inning, worked his way out of it, and that's been the case for really most of his career here. Once he gets through the lineup once, he seems to really find his groove. What'd you like from Fernando today?
Yeah, I mean, Fernando's a true pitcher. He throws 3 pitches for strikes. He usually doesn't hurt himself, and he pitches to contact. He's never really going to wow you with a ton of strikeouts, but he's got tremendous movement on his ball, and he really bulldogged out there for us today, and was really happy with the freshman Doherty coming in late and changing speeds. I thought he did an excellent job as well.
Yeah, you did a good job of maintaining the bullpen depth you guys have going into tomorrow by only using 1 bullpen arm today. Did you have any thought of bringing in Bobby Tramandosi, or is when you got the extra 3 runs in the 8th, did that make the decision for you?
Yeah, the plan was to go to Bob, but then we tacked on some runs. We set him down to try and keep him as fresh as possible for tomorrow. So, yeah, those late runs are always really key. I felt like we had some opportunity for some tack-on runs earlier. Didn't really get the big 2-out hit, but we barreled up some balls and was right at people.
Yeah, absolutely. Offensively, really 1 through 9, you guys really delivered today. Charlie Huegi had himself a solid day from the 9-hole with that big insurance run-producing triple in the 8th inning. He also had a phenomenal defensive play. He actually just told me you guys do a lot of work on that where they're running out from the infield, trying to catch it over their shoulder, and it appeared to pay off there. Just talk a little bit about your lineup today and the defense that came through for you.
Yeah, the defense was solid. I wasn't really happy with the defense yesterday, so putting up a 0 in that third column is always really important for us to be successful. And Hugi's a guy that goes game speed all the time. With sometimes, in BP you'll see him diving all over the field. But if you don't practice making great plays in practice, you're not going to make him in the games. And he's a heck of a shortstop. I think he's the best shortstop in New England defensively, and I feel really confident every time the ball's hit at him.
Second consecutive year you guys are headed to the LEC tournament championship game. Last year you came away with winners of this tournament. Now you are again. Is this one even sweeter than the first?
Yeah, I mean, we still got work to do. I mean, there's still a game to play. Whoever comes through this losers bracket, I'm hoping they all use a lot of arms before tomorrow, so we can get a little bit of an advantage there. But I mean, this league is so deep with 5 of the top 10 teams in New England. So whoever we play, we're gonna have our work cut out for us, and we're gonna have to continue to play good baseball.
Speaking of using a lot of arms, you guys have pitched now 3 different starters in your first 3 games. Not asking you to give anything away in your preparation for tomorrow, but do you already have an idea of what you want to do for tomorrow, since there's a possibility you may have to play 2 games?
Yeah, I think Aruta's been our number 4 starter, so he'll get the ball for the game 1, and hopefully he can go out and do what he does. He's a big game pitcher. He pitched in a state championship last year and was lights out, so hopefully he can do it again tomorrow.
Oh, we hope so as well. Coach Agabrot, thank you so much. Best of luck tomorrow as the Beacons look to win their 2nd consecutive Little East Conference tournament. We'll be back to wrap it up in a bit.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. So UMass Boston winning by the final score of 7-1. They are on their way for the second straight year to the LEC tournament title. And as you heard, the Beacons are planning on starting Tyler Aruda in Game 1 tomorrow. And Aruda has been hit or miss here this year, but as Coach Eigenroth said, he did win a state championship as a starting pitcher a year ago, and so he is expected to get the ball in Game 1 tomorrow. Now, even if he does struggle and the Beacons lose, they'll have another chance to win the title in Game 2, if necessary. So we'll play at least one tomorrow. Stay tuned, though, to the Beacons Broadcasting Network, because we got two more tonight, beginning first with Dartmouth versus Rhode Island College. Expect a lot of fireworks. I'll be on the call very shortly as the Beacons the Anchormen and the Corsairs get ready to go for Game 8 of this tournament. As always, I want to thank our production team, our producer Seth Orensky, our directors Rachel Maslak and Alyssa Fusial, Rachel Maslak as well on Instant Replay, our camera operators Marcelo Cunha, Josh Ruffin, Cassie Murphy, Eileen Shee, and Sarah King, and my color commentators today, Bob Multa and Anthony Searles. For everyone involved, I'm John Skudris. Good night, good luck, good baseball. We'll see you very soon for Game 8 of this LEC tournament between Dartmouth and Rhode Island College here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Anthony Searles, I'm John Skudris, getting set to bring you Game 2 of 3 on our Friday triple header here in the 2018 Little East Conference Tournament. Today, an elimination battle between the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth and Rhode Island College. UMass Dartmouth coming in as the 6th seed versus the 4th-seeded Rick Anchormen, and both of these teams coming here in different avenues, as Dartmouth, of course, lost the opener on Wednesday to UMass Boston, and then triumphant in eliminating Plymouth State on Thursday behind Matt Cronin en route to this battle. As you see there in a recap of Day 1 and 2. Meanwhile, the Rhode Island College Anchormen, what a performance they had, split between Wednesday and Thursday, as they were able to defeat Southern Maine 7-3, before falling yesterday to the Eastern Connecticut State Warriors 10-5. Anthony, as we take a look at both of these clubs, we know what the narrative is. Rick's offense versus Dartmouth's defense and pitching staff. Now, no Matt Cronin today. What do we expect for